And there's a look at Gilbert Arenas, who shot, made Game 6 and an elimination game for the Wizards against the Bulls. Keeping their dreams and hopes alive.
He has done it again. Can you believe that?
While others still fight to survive round 1. Through 4 games, the Bulls and the Wizards were tied, both protecting their home turf. But in Game 5, the Wizards were determined to change that pattern. After an improbable fourth-quarter comeback from the Bulls, the Wizards needed someone to come to the rescue.
Arenas now, 3 seconds, guarded by Heinrich, drives, left of the lane, puts up the shot, got it at the buzzer! Gilbert Arenas scores!
Now the series returns to the nation's capital with a chance for the Wizards to turn their dream of advancing into reality. Set, the Bulls fighting to stay alive, the Wizards looking to advance. The drama and passion of Game 6 is straight ahead. What a wild week in round 1 it has been.
They were looking at Yao harder because of Mark's complaints. I didn't think that really worked in the NBA.
If he's going to say things like that, he's not going to continue in this league.
I felt like I was in Watergate or something. So.
You ain't got to do nothing, homeboy. You ain't writing nothing.
Left of the lane, puts up the shot, got it at the buzzer! Gilbert Arenas scores! Arenas scores! Let's see, Tinsley got knocked down. What is Steve Jobby going to call here?
He almost called a technical foul. He's been ejected from this ball game. The Indiana Pacers get to pick who comes in and shoots these free throws, and they choose Kendrick Perkins.
Perkins missed them both. Air ball. Miller throws up an air ball, and the Celtics coming back on the road to beat the Indiana Pacers 92-89. Jason Terry. Someone rejected. McCready for three. We'll see you in Dallas for Game 7 on Saturday night.
Welcome to New York, where the excitement is. John Saunders, Tim Legler, Greg Anthony, and Stephen A. Smith. All right, it's only round 1, and it's not even done. But if this is what the playoffs are going to be like,
It's been crazy and it's been unpredictable, but the one thing that has been sane, the 4 teams at the top, Heat, Pistons, Suns, Spurs, 16-2 status quo.
And what we have expected, you're going to have a couple Game 7s in terms of Indiana, Boston, and also Dallas and Houston, 2 teams, or 4 teams, I should say, that are pretty comparable in talent. Who wins out will be interesting.
The Final 4 is still in the mix. Washington and Chicago has been very entertaining, and T-Mac is still in the playoffs. I'm loving it.
You want to stay with us for the next half hour because we're going to run down the game we have coming up tonight, the Bulls and the Wiz. Plus, we know who the MVP of the league is, and it's not supposed to be announced until on Sunday. But right now, for a preview of the game, let's join Mark Jones, who's standing by with Larry Hughes of the Washington Wizards.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Got Larry Hughes here. Larry, at the end of every first quarter so far in the series, you guys have held the lead. How have you been able to jump on them early in each game?
We're really aggressive, from the start. We're really attacking the basket, trying to get those guys in foul trouble. So we shoot some free throws, get some fast break opportunities, and hold those guys to some missed shots.
What has Eddie Jordan, your head coach, told you about being able to close this game out tonight and close out the series in its entirety?
Oh, this is a big game. Last game he put it in the words of it's like 3 games. We had the opportunity to play a game here, go back home and close it out, where we don't have to travel back to Chicago. So that's really everybody's focus is to close it out, not to have to go back to Chicago.
Your boy rap star Nelly waiting for you in Miami. Is that a portent of things to come?
Well, it's all business, when I get down there, but it's definitely always good to see his face. He comes to support me anytime he can, so, that's always a good thing.
All right, Larry, thanks for joining us. John Saunders, back to you.
All right, Jonesy, thanks a lot. The Wizards have a chance tonight to end the second longest drought without a playoff series victory in NBA history. 22 seasons since a Washington franchise advanced out of the first round.
I'll tell you what, and if they're going to do it, if they're going to get out, they've got to get out early and run. They've done it the last 3 games, had great starts. They're a much better team in transition, and Chicago is a pretty good team in the half court defensively. Wizards need to establish energy early.
Elimination game on the road, you need veteran leadership. And I think Antonio Davis is a guy who's been in this situation a multitude of times. He's going to have an impact. Harrington's going to have an impact. They can't be dominated on the front line by the Washington Wizards.
Well, I mean, when I think about it, I think about the Chicago Bulls. We all know that a report came out earlier talking about Scott Skiles and, the Cleveland Cavaliers have some interest in him. This guy's got 1 year left on his contract. He's looking for a hefty extension. Everybody that I've talked to in the NBA has told me, hey, Scott Skiles, you can expect him to remain in Chicago. This man has done too well of a job. You've got to take care of him.
Real quickly, guys, why is this the only league where this seems to happen, where we talk about coaches having other jobs while they're still coaching another team?
I've never seen anything like it. The rumors get out there, and they really shouldn't, and it's really wrong when a guy's coaching in the playoffs to have his name come up.
And oftentimes, I don't think the sources are that reliable. I think this is much ado about nothing than it is somebody actually making some hay.
Unfortunately, the stuff is still out there. And when you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business, everybody's probably putting some information out there because they want to find a way where they can get paid. And a lot of people talk about the reporters. They don't talk about the people putting the stuff out there because they're trying to find a way to pad their wallets.
All right, we could wrap up a round 1 series tonight, but there's another that won't be wrapped until tomorrow. That's between Boston and Indiana. Paul Pierce at the end of this game in regulation. Watch this elbow here after he's fouled. He knows he's going to be fouled, but he gets called for a technical. It's his second of the game, so he's ejected, and he can't shoot the free throws. So Indiana gets a choice of who to send to the line. They send Kendrick Perkins to the line. He misses both, and as a result, it goes to overtime, but Boston wins.
Obviously, that was the craziest freaking game I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this series is just, it's unreal. I mean, I was so proud of our guys. When the incident happened with Paul, all I told Paul and I told our team, we cannot lose this game. We cannot lose this game. And they didn't.
I'm pretty much speechless, man. The guys really picked me up. Unbelievable. I don't know what I'll be, how I feel right now. We got to lost this game all on the bonehead play, but guys just do a better job of keeping my cool, and it's game 7.
Well, Paul Pierce thought that Jamal Tinsley cut his face before he threw this elbow. And apparently out here, Stephen A. Smith and I were throwing some elbows around as well. You guys okay?
Well, Greg and I had a little bit of a disagreement in the back. Do you still feel the same way that you felt back there? Because I thought you came at me kind of hard.
I'm speechless.
I don't know what was more shocking, actually, Paul Pierce's actions or the contraption he had on his head after the game, looking like his wisdom teeth just got pulled.
I'm still speechless.
Are you okay with the technical foul?
I'm fine with it. There was no choice. I actually had more of a problem with the first technical foul that he got for a little teeny elbow, but he put Steve Javie in a corner. He had no choice but to call this technical foul. When the arm comes out to that extent, you have to call it. Paul Pierce made a big-time lack of judgment.
Oh, and also, remember this, Jamal Tinsley has been trying to get under the skin of the Boston Celtics players throughout the course of the series since he's been back, and there was no question in their minds that he flopped in that situation, and that led to the ejection. Fortunately for Boston, they were able to persevere and hold on and win the game.
The one thing that keeps I tell you, the one thing that keeps coming to my mind is the fact that you've got to give the Boston Celtics collectively, as a team, you have to give them all the credit in the world. Antoine Walker gets ejected. He gets suspended for Game 4, rather, because of what transpired in Game 3. Paul Pierce gets ejected last night. These are your 2 leaders. All the credit in the world to the Boston Celtics, because you know something, Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce are 2 pretty important guys that have accomplished a lot in their career. You don't want to dog them, but you cannot make those kind of mistakes.
One thing, though, and I don't think we've done this yet, Doc Rivers deserves a tremendous amount of credit in terms of being able to deal with these egos and the emotional instability of some of his best players. Remember, Ricky Davis has been known to be volatile as well. Doc Rivers has done as good a coaching job as anybody in just macro-managing those personalities.
Worth every penny.
Especially when you consider he was in this business at this time last year.
Pretty
the
good
Celtics,
too.
only 17-4 mark all-time in Game 7s, good for second best in NBA history. Indiana, on the other hand, is 1-3 with all 4 of those being played on the road.
Got a lot of guys named Russell and Bird and guys like that.
The Houston Rockets went on a 19-0 run in the fourth quarter, and that's why there's a Game 7 against Dallas.
We lost the game. We didn't play well enough to win the game. We don't make excuses, okay? We don't make excuses. We lost the game. Maybe I need to go crazy. You know, maybe that'll help. You know, maybe I need to go crazy, and then you won't talk about Game 6, who won Game 6, but maybe you'll talk about how the coach went crazy. Maybe that needs to happen.
The first year that ESPN had the NBA, I worked with Sean Elliott, and he said Avery Johnson was so intense in the locker room during their championship run in the '99 season. You can see him carry it over, but you can also see him say, Jeff Van Gundy, stop complaining about the officials.
No question. That was directed at Jeff Van Gundy. Avery Johnson wakes up intense, and I think he was looking for the perfect opportunity to make his feelings known. And I love this. It's refreshing for me to see a coach say, hey, well, you know what? I'm not going to give my team an excuse. I'm not going to give them a cop-out. We didn't play well. We're going to go back to Dallas and play much better in Game 7. That's what's going to determine this series.
Well, it's all about posturing. Jeff Van Gundy did it in basically trying to, one, get an edge with the officials, but also to motivate his team. And it's no different in terms of what Avery Johnson's doing. He knows that he has a team and an opportunity to have a 7th game at home, and they feel like they're the better basketball team. They're going to have to go out and perform.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I agree with both of y'all. But first of all, I didn't really have too much of a problem with what Van Gundy said until he said the official called him. When you did that, you basically touched on the integrity of the league. And Flash, oh, get ready for this one, because it is rare you're going to hear this from me. I agree with David Stern and his reaction. It's a miracle. Hold on to it. It doesn't happen often, but it's happening today. I agree with David Stern. You cannot have any coach say that an official picked up the phone and called me to say that favoritism was being exuded towards somebody else or exhibited towards somebody else. You can't have that. Hold on to this.
May 6th.
That's right.
2005, 7:42.
That's right.
Stephen A. Smith,
trust me,
agrees.
In the archive.
It'll be rare. It'll be rare, but I'll give it to him this one.
And he has to give up his source as well.
No, he doesn't have to. I didn't go that far. Oh, no, you hold on to it for dear life. No matter what it costs you, you don't rat out your sources. But he should have never brought it into the equation. And he said that.
Contractually.
He's not a reporter, though. He's not a journalist.
I know that, but I'm saying.
I'm not looking at it from that standpoint, but I don't think there's any question if what he says is true. That has to be an issue for the commissioner that he has to address. And having spoken with Jeff about it, he does feel badly. He feels like, yeah, he had definitely made mistakes in terms of how his comments were taken. Not necessarily what he said, but the fact that he thought that they were taking someone out of context.
No, I'm just saying, I understand. I agree with you. I'm just saying he shouldn't. If that official could end up getting fired, I'm saying that guy doesn't deserve that. Because Jeff, he didn't mean for Jeff to go out and say the man called me.
Well, I completely understand also where David Stern's coming from with the fine, because this speaks to the integrity of the game. It's completely different than a coach after game saying, you know, we got the short end of the stick on calls. My guy's not getting a fair shake. He's basically saying it happened before the game, before the series, almost like a collusion. In my opinion, Jeff Van Gundy threw whoever the source was under the bus. It's not going to be that hard for David Stern to find out who this person was, whether he gets from Jeff Van Gundy or not.
Let's hope it is hard.
I don't see how it could be. It's a small league.
Contractually, coaches are supposed to give up the source in situations like this. We have a source that tells us who the MVP is going to be days before it will be announced. Mark Stein of ESPN.com is reporting that Steve Nash will become the 3rd different point guard to take home the trophy as the MVP since Magic Johnson did it for the 3rd time in 89-90. The Big O's also borderline case. He led the league in assists per game during 63-64. But most probably would say he was a shooting guard and not a point guard. All right, we take a look at this. And it has been throughout the season, without question. We have said Steve Nash. We have said Shaquille O'Neal. Your feelings on it being Steve Nash?
Well, firstly, I have to preface it by saying I think Steve Nash has had a phenomenal season, and I think he's first team All-NBA, and I think he is definitely the catalyst for the Phoenix Suns' success. But again, I emphasize catalyst. There's a difference between a catalyst and a most valuable player winner, and that's where I think there's a little bit of a difference. I just think Shaquille O'Neal, as dominant a player as he's been throughout his entire career, he has one MVP award to show for it, and I just think that's unfortunate.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, you want to give all the credit in the world to Steve Nash. However, you look at Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, my goodness, Christian Laettner, Alonzo Mourning, Udonis Haslem, they're all shooting over 50% from the field. Damon Jones is shooting over 43% from three-point range. You look at the kind of impact that Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant basketball force I've ever seen. There is no reason on earth why this man should not have been the MVP. I respect Nash, but you got to give it to Shaquille O'Neal, in my opinion.
Well, my vote would also go to Shaquille O'Neal, but I don't have as much of a problem. I don't think it with it as you guys. I think you can make a very compelling argument for Steve Nash to be MVP when you look at the years that the other players around him have had. All those guys have had career years. They're all good players, but it's not a coincidence when you bring in a great point guard to make everybody else better. That's why all those guys are having the year they have. Plus, they won 62 games. They won 29 games last year. I don't have a big problem with it. I would vote for Shaquille O'Neal as well, but congratulations to Steve Nash. He had a great year.
They're better than just good players. I mean, Amari Stoudemire, you could say, is going to be first-team All-NBA. Sean Marion was an All-Star prior to Steve Nash getting there. It's not that they're just good players. These guys are great players in their own right.
Don't forget, Dr. James Naismith invented the game. A Canadian. So it's about time a Canadian won the MVP.
Going back to Canada?
Is Scott Skiles talking about the game, or is Stephen A. maybe headed to Cleveland?
After a classic finish, DC's finest are on an emotional high. What can Chi-Town's Baby Bulls do to force at Game 7? It's do or die. The Celts conquered all odds and brought the series back to Beantown. And T-Mac brought the Rockets back from the dead. Game 7, who wants it more? Plus, Ray Allen has been lighting it up in the postseason. Does Seattle have a chance against Tim Duncan and the mighty Spurs? We'll play Take Your Pick as Kia NBA Shoot-Around rolls on.
Kia NBA Shoot-Around, brought to you by Kia Motors and the all-new Sportune Spectra 5 and American Express.
Was a backbreaker.
John Saunders and Stephen A. Smith with the A-list to head towards that game. Kwame Brown, we're going to begin with him. And Kwame was once the #1 pick overall, and Kwame Brown was supposed to have a terrific future in Washington.
Well, he's been.
It looks like it's over.
It does look like it's over, but he's been a disappointment. Obviously, he feels he should be more of an offensive option, despite Larry Hughes, Gilbert Arenas, and Anton Jameson being there. So he was unhappy about that. After receiving limited minutes in Game 3, he skipped practice for Game 4, then the shoot-around before Game 4. He didn't show up to that either. Coach Eddie Jordan had enough, consulted with Ernie Grunfeld and said, enough, we got to get rid of this guy for now. They might still keep him, though. Who knows?
LeBron James, now, most of the talk about LeBron has been about not making the playoffs and about changing coaches. Do you have some other news?
Well, I'm hearing he's in the process of changing his agent. He's in the process of getting rid of Aaron Goodwin, his agent, on the record right now. He hasn't been happy with a lot of things that came public that his name has been associated with. Now, I have not spoken to Aaron Goodwin. I reached out to him, have not heard from him to hear his reaction to any of this stuff, but that's what I'm hearing.
Larry Brown, where's he going to be next year?
No one knows. I mean, you're talking about L.A. or New York. You're talking about him retiring. He swears that Detroit is his last stop. But from what I'm hearing, he's sort of leaning towards retirement. Any event where the news comes in is any event that he leans towards retirement, he elects to retire. You've got people like New York hoping that it will only be for 1 year. That way they can still pursue Larry Brown, let him take a year off, and then bring him on board. And if that's the situation, who knows? Herb Williams can end up staying in New York for another season.
I'll tell you what, the guy we're about to talk to next is a guy who I'm sure hopes Larry Brown stays right where he is. Joined now by Richard Hamilton, champion from last year, hoping to repeat this year. We're going to get you one-on-one with Stephen A. Smith in just a moment. But the first question I want to ask is, just how hard was it after the fight with the Indiana Pacers to get the focus of the team back together on building forward another championship?
I think it was tough at first. I think that, we had a couple guys suspended and things like that. But after a while, everybody got back in the mix. Everybody got accustomed on how we want to play and how we want to defend and how we want to go out and, make teams, definitely challenge other teams. We started to get our rhythm back. And I think it took us a while, but once we got over that little hump, we was in good shape.
All right, Rip, obviously in good shape because you finished as the #2 seed and a chance to go for another championship. But right now, are you ready to go one-on-one with Stephen A. Smith?
Yes, sir. That's my man. That's my guy.
All right,
That's
Rip,
my
let me ask
guy
you.
Right there.
I hear you, my man. Let me ask you this question. Seriously, when you think about, Indiana going up against Boston, obviously you guys will end up facing the winner. Do you guys sort of wish that you end up going against the Indiana Pacers just so you can get everybody, you just erase the memory of last November 19th from everybody's mind?
I think it's already erased from everybody's mind. I think right now, our success and the place and where we want to get to and things like that is bigger than what happened back then. I think right now we just hope that, Boston and Indiana continue to beat each other up. So, when we get an opportunity to go out there and play them come Monday, they kind of tired and things like that.
You heard Coach Larry Brown say that if he's not coaching anywhere but in Detroit, if he's not coaching in Detroit, he's not going to coach anywhere. Bottom line is this: do you believe that Larry Brown, this is his last year in Detroit, or do you believe he's going to return next season?
We hope that he returns next season. I think if we continue to win, hopefully we can go out and win another championship. And if we do them things, I think that'll make his decision a lot more easier. So we right now, we focus on the playoffs and win as many games as possible. And after the year is over, then we're going to see what happens.
You're looking at you guys. You're the defending world champions, but you don't seem to be the same team that you were last year. Remember, Corliss Williamson, Mike James, all gone. You guys right now, Larry Brown has been basically praised your starting lineup, but has a lot of legitimate questions in regards to your bench. You guys don't seem to be the same team that you were last year. Should you be the underdogs in the event that you end up meeting with the Miami Heat for the Eastern Conference crown, or do you guys think that the team as presently constituted should be worthy of being the favorites in a series like that?
Right now, we really don't concern, about what people think and things like that. We know that, we was the champions last year. We got to go out there and prove our point all over again this year. Our bench is key to our success. Yeah, Mike James was key, Memo Corliss Williamson, they was all key guys for us last year. But I think McDyess has done a great job. I think Lindsey Hunter's done a great job. I think Carlos Arroyo has done a great job. We just got to keep getting better. I think that it's going to be a point in time where in the playoffs that these guys will have to come off the bench and step up. And I think they are ready for that.
It certainly seems like the team is ready to make a run at another championship for the Pistons. Yeah. Thanks for going one-on-one with Stephen A. Smith. And good luck. You'll know who you're playing next tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
He had the game winner in Game 5, and they wrap it up in 6 against the Bulls tonight. That's coming up at the top of the hour. It is time now to play Take Your Pick, and we're going to talk Game 7s, Pacers, Celtics.
I'm going to go with the Indiana Pacers. I mean, neither team has responded well to the pressure of playing at home. I think Jermaine O'Neal is going to be a stud in Game 7. He has to establish his dominance in the low post. I'm going with the smarter basketball team. That's the Indiana Pacers.
Well, I'm going to go with the Pacers, and I think the key really is going to be Jamal Tinsley. I think his ability to, 1, handle pressure, and 2, create opportunities for him himself and his teammates allows Reggie Miller to have an impact in this game.
I know both teams act like they've got bipolar disorder. We don't know what's wrong with them, but I think this is the game where everything comes together. It's Game 7 at the Fleet Center in Boston, a very rabid, frenzied environment. Stuff's going to get tight. I think Boston's going to pull it out.
We're going to stay with that Game 7 theme. We're going to go out west, though. The Rockets and the Mavs, Game 7. Take your pick.
I'm going to take another road team. Let me go with the Houston Rockets for a couple reasons. First, I'm going to go with the best player on the floor. That's Tracy McGrady. And secondly, Yao Ming, I don't think he's played well under the pressure of playing at home. He's had 2 huge games in Dallas. I think he will play much better than he did at home. I'm going to go with the Houston Rockets.
Well, I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks. I think the way that they had their head handed to them in Game 6 really was a wake-up call. And the key, again, Dirk Nowitzki. Avery Johnson's got to do a better job of getting him opportunities where he's not just posting, trying to go one-on-one. He has to be a factor.
I'm going to go with Dallas. I hope I'm wrong because I absolutely love Tracy McGrady, but Yao Ming has given me nothing. He's shown me nothing. He's been playing soft, almost as soft as Sean Bradley, if that is possible. So I'm just not convinced that that can happen. I'm picking Dallas.
That's take your pick in Game 7s. We have a Game 6 that is coming up next. You're looking live at Washington, where the Wizards take on the Bulls.
An NBA shoot-around brought to you by Kia Motors and the all-new Sport-Tune Spectra 5 and Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Guys, give me a winner. I'm going with the Wizards. Gilbert Arenas goes off. I'm going with the Baby Bulls.
Wizards. Gilbert and Larry Hughes.
I said the Baby Bulls.
I said the Wizards.
Will we see Game 7? We'll find out. Coming up next, the Bulls.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by GMC Trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade. And Budweiser, bright, crisp, clean, pure, the king of beers.
This opening round best-of-7 playoff series saw the Chicago Bulls, led by a pair of rookies and a second-year point guard, make a name for themselves in Games 1 and 2, coming of age and leading Chicago to a 2-0 series lead. Washington's role players stepped out of the shadows and into the limelight in Games 3 and 4, helping the Wizards even the series at 2 games apiece. In Game 5, Gennaro Pargo, the hometown Bull, was ready to become the unlikely hero. But Gilbert Arenas stole the show as time expired, sending the Wizards back to the nation's capital with a chance to advance tonight. Welcome to Washington, D.C. In a game you can see in HD. Another sellout crowd at the MCI Center. NBA basketball is back in a big way in our nation's capital, as the Wizards tonight looking to take the next step in what has been a fun season. The Bulls, meanwhile, looking to make sure tonight's game is not the last one. It's Game 6 between the Bulls and the Wizards. Good evening, everyone. Along with Bill Walton, Mike Freenon, Mark Jones will join us shortly. It's been a great year for the Wizards and certainly for Gilbert Arenas. He made his first All-Star team. He made his first playoff appearance, and now adding to the resume, he's a playoff hero after what he did in Game 5, and he still is the key for this club.
Gilbert Arenas is everything that any player, franchise, or coach could dream about. He is the catalyst that makes it all happen for this Washington Wizard team. The skill, the poise, the remarkable physical gifts. A slow start, 3 for 19 in Game 1, but ever since he has just been a striking comet, a meteor, if you will. But now the stakes have been ratcheted ever higher. He has got to deliver and drive this engine that is really stoked up here tonight.
Meanwhile, the Bulls engine, a lot of drivers there. They're a very balanced team, so maybe it's unfair, but a rookie is the catalyst, and that's Ben Gordon. And not only has he been the catalyst, he's done it from a 6-man role. He's starting tonight because of Chris Duhon's injury.
They need Ben Gordon to have probably the biggest game that he's ever played in his life. This is the NBA's 6th man of the year, but the numbers at home where he has led the team to victories have been very, very good. On the road, he has not been able to get it done. Unfortunately for the Bulls, Chris Duhon unable to get it going right now. Ben Gordon, the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Our Bud Light starting lineups. Of course, the front court for the Wizards. Jeffers and Haywood helping out Jamison. They've been terrific. And in the backcourt,
the change with Gordon in the starting lineup. And with more on that, let's go to Mark Jones.
Well, guys, I had an opportunity to speak with Chris Duhon a few moments ago. Said that he went through 45 minutes of deep tissue massage earlier today, 20 minutes of ice and some stimulation and in hopes of a treatment and getting better, but he's going to try and still play tonight. Now, Ben Gordon, I asked him, how does your role change as a starter as opposed to being the sixth man? He says, hey, Mark, my role is to still be the same, to attack, to be a spark plug for this team offensively. He says basketball is basketball, Mike. Back to you.
Well, Mark, Ben Gordon did start the first 3 games of the season, but he struggled early on in the year and obviously embraced that six-man role as Othello Harrington pokes it away for the first turnover. Nocioni gets hit, shot won't go, but he'll go to the line. And, of course, Bill, a key for the Bulls team has been starts. They have fallen behind quite a bit in this series. It's been a problem at times during the course of the regular season, but this series they've really had to come from behind.
The Chicago Bulls are not an explosive team. They're a grinded-out team that bases their game on defense. Good to see Andres Nocioni get out to a transition opportunity. The fast break points have been one-sided. The points in the paint have been one-sided for the Washington Wizards. And this undersized, undermanned, short-handed Bulls team, they need everybody to basically have the game of their lives to survive this one.
Part of the reasons why they've struggled early, Eddie Curry, of course, the big center, out with the irregular heartbeat. They normally go to him often and early in games. It's the way they set their tempo, the way they get things going. And perhaps one of the reasons why they've been out of whack recently to start games. As Hughes throws it away, so 2 turnovers on 2 possessions for the Wizards. Curry, of course, traveling with the team and rooting them on. But the Bulls have not made any excuses about we miss Eddie Curry, we miss Luol Deng. They know it hurts, but they haven't talked about it at all.
And that's a reflection of their top-notch coach, Scott Skiles. Heard far too much whining, complaining, and excuse-making during this year's playoffs. None of it from Skiles and the Bulls.
Hughes, who's done a great job on the boards in this series with that rebound. You heard the chants of defense from this sellout crowd. This is not a team known for its defense. There's a foul on the pass from Marinas. But while we talk so much about their scoring, their defense is much improved since the first couple of games in this series, and Eddie Jordan's been very pleased with that.
What's really come alive for Eddie Jordan has been his big men. This is the first playoff appearance as a head coach, and he stands to become a man in history if his team wins this game or this series. The first NBA coach in his first series to fall behind 2-0 and then come back and win in a best-of-7 series.
Of course, they lost those first 2 games in Chicago. Heinrich called for that last foul. Jimmy Clark had to tell Scott Skiles get back to the bench as Skiles was upset.
Bulls extending their defense.
Haywood, and he's fouled by Gordon. So a couple of quick fouls from Chicago. And Brendan Haywood, who's coming off a very strong game in Game 5 at Chicago, will go to the line for 2.
Haywood, one of those players out of the University of North Carolina who one day can be a major force in this league. Just coming into his own, a slow start. And if I'm the Chicago Bulls, I never foul him on that turnaround jumper. His go-to move is the jump hook into the lane.
He's been shooting well during the regular season, shooting well during the playoffs. And then, as you said, at his 4th year, his numbers aren't spectacular, but each number went higher. And he's starting to fulfill some of that potential. And when he first came into the league out of North Carolina.
This has been a tough matchup here. Harrington, who played his college basketball here for Georgetown, giving up a lot of size and length to Brendan Haywood.
Arenas gets inside, can't finish, and Harrington clears out some room.
Gilbert Arenas playing with a heavily taped left thumb. We're going to have to get a report on Mark Jones, what that's all about.
Heinrich gets to the goal. And we've got a blocking foul. Both Jack Neese and Jim Clark agree as Jeffries was in the restricted area, and Heinrich will shoot 2.
Kirk Heinrich out of the University of Kansas, a lottery pick a couple years ago, clearly inside the restricted zone. Chicago off to a good start here. They have not held the lead at all in any of these last 3 games. They've just been pummeled from the opening tip.
They were a solid road team during the regular season, the Bulls. Nearly 500. They were 20-21. They got whacked pretty good in Game 4. In fact, Scott Skiles told us before the game that he felt they were a little shell-shocked after the way they were beaten in Game 4, and it had a bit of a hangover effect in Game 5.
And it even affected their fans. Jamison, tough shot. This Bulls defense looking very physical early on. A confident Bulls defensive squad.
Haywood lost it, but it's still Wizards ball. The offensive rebounds a concern for Chicago, and it's been a big boost for Washington. Arenas blocked by Heinrich, and it's still going to be Wizards ball. Now let's send it over to Mark once again.
Well, Gilbert Arenas, guys, you can see wearing a protective bandage on his left thumb. He injured that thumb during the shoot-around prior to Game 3 here in Washington, and he actually took it off prior to the second half of the last game. Still trying to get comfortable with the feel of it, but he still pulls the trigger, Mike.
No question about that, Mark, as Arenas, their leading scorer. Heinrich nails a three. And Heinrich, of course, he had that big game in Game 2 where he had 34 points. But out of that, he's been struggling shooting from the field.
Still remains their leading scorer, and this series remains true to form. The underdog playing the vastly superior game.
Jamison able to knock it down. But so far, it's the start Scott Skiles wanted. And obviously always do, but the way this team is a young, as you call it at times, fragile team, they needed to get off to a quick start. Antonio Davis, the veteran, one with the most playoff experience, playing so many playoff games with Indiana and Toronto, says he has to do a better job in getting his young guys geared up.
Well, 36 years old now. Antonio Davis has been through every single war imaginable. Jared Jeffries needs to try to find a way to create some offense, to put pressure on Antonio Davis, who was lying out of bounds. Thus the reason for the change of possession.
Davis turns to Bernie Fryer and says, good call. Shot clock is down to 9. But we've seen a different Bulls intensity defensively. It was their #1 strength during the regular season, but the last several games it wasn't there. And Jamison steps out.
A lot of times when you have the big game-winning shot as Arenas hit in Game 5, the team thinks that the series is over. They have come out very casual, careless, and lackadaisical, the Wizards.
Haywood with a block. He had 5 in Game 5. Arenas too strong. Jeffries couldn't hold on, and already that's 3 turnovers for Washington.
Generally, if you bring that pass a little bit lower at the face level, the receiver tends to catch it more often.
You big guys always want that perfect pass.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking from a passing point of view. Throw it at the guy's face. They'll tend to catch it.
They're giving Davis the open jumper, not that time. And Jeffries, who Eddie Jordan called the unsung hero at both ends of the floor for this team.
Great screen, Jeffries.
Nice feed inside. And Jamison with a finish. Antoine Jamison, in his first year, was acquired from Dallas for the Jerry Stackhouse deal. Loves playing with Gilbert Arenas and Larry Hughes again. They were all teammates at Golden State as Haywood's called for a foul. No shot. And the Bulls will take it out of bounds.
When you step out to defend that pick and roll, you have got to make the commitment that the man who's coming off the screen, the offensive player, Scott Heinrich in that case, you got to turn him back. You cannot let him turn the corner or you've done nothing as a defender.
Heinrich. Nocioni left open for 3. And Nocioni knocks it down.
This is a completely different Bulls squad than what we've seen the last 3 games, who were completely back on their heels.
Well, sometimes when you play that elimination game, the desperation is there. Poor switch that time, and Haywood able to put it in for his first field goal.
Jared Jeffries has been the swingman, the guy who's creating and getting that ball onto the next finisher. Bulls are going to have to tighten down on him.
Heinrich gets to the glass and draws the foul. And the Bulls not settling for the perimeter. They're attacking the glass, and that's obviously was a game plan.
And you can see the eye, the left eye of Kurt Heinrich there. He's got the dark black and blue mark underneath that eye. And talking to him about it before the game, he said it's all right. It caused him a little bit of blurriness, but received it in the last game. He feels he will be able to get by.
Jeffries picks up his second foul. Maybe it's because somebody was throwing a pass at his face.
Always a good idea.
Reminder, check out NBA TV for highlights, press conferences, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes action during the entire postseason. NBA TV is your home for complete playoff coverage.
But if you look at so many of the pedigrees of the stars in this series, Heinrich from Kansas, Jamison and Haywood from North Carolina, Arenas from the University of Arizona, the importance of that master teacher. Zone trap here by the Bulls, trying to take some time off the clock.
Wearing slow Gilbert Arenas down. Michael Ruffin, you see, had the ball. He's in the game for the first time. Ruffin's been a nice spark off the bench. Hughes hits a three. Larry Hughes, he went a bit unnoticed. Gilbert Arenas stole the show in the final seconds, but Hughes had 33 points in Game 5.
The versatility of the offensive attack for Washington is just tremendous. And Nocione, since Game 1, has been very quiet. On a talk that he's just hit the wall maybe, or maybe he's too small, or the game is too fast for him, but playing extremely well in the opening moments here.
He had 25 points in that first game. Jamison for three. And Jamison off to a good start. Jamison shooting 7 of 13 from three-point range. And Scott Skiles wants a timeout. And the crowd on its feet. First standing ovation for the Washington Wizards. Of course, led by Gilbert Arenas. He had a dream come true at the end of Game 5. We'll relive that dream when we return.
You know, I was not letting my team go to overtime.
Gil saw everything. He visualized everything before he even caught the ball.
When I turned and faced, I seen there was about, 4-3, 4-2 left. The clock is just ticking. And the first thing in my head is like, can you please hurry up and make a move? I was counting the seconds in my head. Okay, I was like 3, 2, okay, this is getting kind of close. He's pushing me to my favorite hand, going left. As soon as he makes his move, I see Tyson goes, and I'm like, there's not enough time for him to dish it to me, so he has to shoot it. So I was like, okay, I can't go all the way, and let me pull up a little early. So I think, by him jumping helped me put a little more arc on it. And, it went in. Every time you're shooting around, you dream about that shot. Every time you're, on the court playing with your friends, practicing by yourself, that's all you think of is, hitting a game winner.
Playoff heroics, what all the players dream about. Last year at this time, Gilbert Arenas, he went to New Jersey with his coach Eddie Jordan to watch the Nets in the first round. Watch how Jason Kidd played in the playoffs. He'd never been in the postseason. But this year, his first playoff experience, and he is making it a special one.
Gilbert Arenas was a player who left the University of Arizona earlier, thought he was going to be a high lottery pick, didn't get picked to the second round, ultimately by Golden State. In the end, it's played out better for him. Traveling violation, easy play to call.
Larry used a good defender on Gordon.
Mike, we talked about the college pedigrees of some of these players. By my count, 8 of the 16 players in this game, or the 24 players in this game, their college coaches are in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
It certainly makes a difference as Jamison throws it away. And that's when John Paxson decided to build the Bulls. One of the things he said when he was making draft picks, pick guys who played on winners. There's a reason they've been on winners their whole life. Sometimes it's more than individual numbers. What was your team's record? Gordon, nice feed, and Davis wide open. And the Bulls back up by 6. A high-scoring first quarter for Chicago as they're shooting 60% from the field.
And they're doing a very solid job, particularly Kurt Heinrich, against Gilbert Arenas, not giving him any room whatsoever.
Gordon takes it away. Gordon with a nice defensive play. And then throws it away. Now, you want to ask about some of the differences with not having Duhon. As good as Gordon is offensively, he is not nearly the defender that Duhon is. Duhon's still hoping to play as he rests that back.
Well, Chris Duhon is one of my favorite players in all of basketball. This is a guy who just comes from that Duke program, knows all about winning, and is completely committed to the team. We can only hope that Chris is going to be okay.
Haywood foul from behind. Phil Harrington hit him. The officials discussing whether it should be a goaltend. And they're not going to count it. So Haywood will shoot 2.
Wizards had 2 turnovers their last possession. I don't think the ball was touched by the second arm flailing away up there.
No, if he had hit the rim or the net while it was above the cylinder, it would have been.
But this trip to the line
nearly throws an air ball.
This trip to the line is so important because the Wizards have been hot after starting the game 0 for 4. They were a little tentative, tight, maybe overconfident a little bit. Since then, though, they've been 5 for 6, discounting the last 2 possessions that were turnovers.
Out the second free throw, and then a foul. And it's going to go against Chicago, so one more free throw is going to come. Othella Harrington quickly for 2 quick fouls.
Inexcusable for Othella Harrington, who knows all about the importance of big men, and Tyson Chandler checks into the game. At the bottom of your screen,
just pushing off. Yeah, he did.
That high elbow right into the cheek.
So 1 shot foul right now for Jamison as Chandler comes in for the first time. Jamison with 8 points already.
I love the way both teams are pressing. Get up there 94 feet without running.
Heinrich again attacks the goal. Oh, offensive foul. They wave it off. And Heinrich called for his second personal. So 2 starters with 2 fouls.
The relentless pursuit of that hoop. Heinrich, easy play to call once again, leading with the shoulder and the elbow.
Duhan is now going to check in, so Heinrich will sit with 2 fouls. Harrington down with 2 fouls.
This crowd is fired up. You can't hear a thing in here.
They called a delay of game warning against Chicago. Scott Skiles not happy. For those who've been around this building the whole 8 years, they said games 3 and 4 were the loudest they have ever heard it. Obviously the first playoffs ever at the MCI Center. As a reach-in foul is called. It goes against Nocioni. Nocioni with the reaction. Scott Skiles not happy again.
Heinrich with the black eye. 8 points, but 2 fouls. That's the critical number there as the Wizards off to a slow and sluggish start offensively, trying to find a little bit of rhythm. The now familiar behind-the-back wraparound for Gilbert Arenas.
15 fouls, so Arenas will go to the line. We talked to Arenas yesterday, and it's been such a great year for him, as we said, his first All-Star appearance, and he said that one of the biggest thrills for him was going to the All-Star game and having the fellow All-Stars like Shaquille O'Neal and Grant Hill say welcome to the All-Star game. Congratulations. Something that he always wanted. But if you ask him where's the biggest area of improvement for him, right away he said the team success. That's not always been the rap on him. As Duhan misses, Chandler keeps it alive, and Haywood comes down with it.
Great outlet by Haywood. Got to punish him. Use your quickness in transition.
Arenas, 1 dribble. Shot won't go. Well, they're battling on the boards, and Gordon will come the other way.
Nice step out by Haywood. That's the way you defend the pick and roll.
Gordon hasn't even been able to get a shot off yet. Hughes' defense has been superb. Chandler stripped by Haywood. Haywood continues to play well.
Transition defense superb for the Bulls.
Arenas on the pull-up. Oh, so tough to defend when you stop on a dime. And the 6-0 run has tied the game.
So many different weapons. Packing it in with that zone defense, challenging the outside shooting capabilities of the Bulls.
And here's where the Bulls miss Heinrich. He's their best penetrator. Davis left wide open. And Haywood with another rebound.
The crowd surging here as the fast break starting to take its toll on the Bulls.
Jamison rushed it. And a loose ball foul is going to go against the Washington Wizards.
We saw Gilbert Arenas with the game winner from the other night, game 5 now. Gilbert Arenas looking at him much better facing the basket than when it's back to the basket. Get to that spot, get in the air. Nobody can defend that.
Especially a guy with a bad back. And Duhan really gutting it out. He's really been hurting. He's a very strong defender for a rookie. But having to guard Gilbert Arenas when you're 100% healthy, tough enough. As Nocioni will go to the free throw line. Both teams in the penalty. Our NBA calendar. A great day tomorrow, Saturday on TNT. Couple of game 7s, Indiana and Boston, and then Houston and Dallas. And then Sunday on ABC, the second round begins. Will it be Washington or Chicago playing Miami in the second round? Of course, we might have a game 7 on ABC, or we might have a game 1.
Nocioni, who is a starting member of the Argentinian gold medal winning team in Athens.
He had the audacity to bring his gold medal to Bulls training camp.
What's wrong with that? That's just a fact of life.
I'm here, he said.
Well done, Andres, who still struggles with the English language, much as I do.
Juan Dixon, you see in the game. Of course, Dixon had that fabulous game 4 when he had the 35 points. Can't hit that one. And Larry Hughes right there. Hughes has been unbelievable on the boards.
You don't realize how big Hughes is because of the size of Etan Thomas, Brendan Haywood, Michael Ruffin, his dynamic front line for the Wizards.
And a reach and foul. A little over aggressive.
We're watching the 2005 NBA playoffs on ESPN.
Game 6 from Washington, D.C. And the Wizards with a 1-point lead. Of course, for the Chicago Bulls, what a terrific season. 47 wins after just 23 last year. And it was a lot of rough years, of course, after winning the title in '98. They lost a couple of key guys, and it wasn't bad. It was awful. So many years of just bad basketball. But now they've got a terrific nucleus. And John Paxson.
There's a winner right there. Scottie Pippen, 6-time world champion, one of the 50 greatest players in the history of basketball. One of the real class acts going. Scott Skiles, who was the 4th or 5th coach since Phil Jackson retired.
And, of course, 4 rookies made an impact this year. 4 of them had a huge contribution for this team, including Nocioni. And with more on Nocioni, let's go to Mark Jones.
Been struggling a little bit, Michael, and today he received an inspiring phone call from Luis Scola, his Argentine national teammate who plays for Tau Ceramica, Nocioni's former Spanish League team. Scola told him that Ceramica won today in the EuroLeague Final Four, and he says, Andres, that's a good sign for you. You're going to do well today, trying to get his positive mojo back. Of course, Bill, that was all in Spanish, that conversation.
Well translated by Mark, of course. Nocioni plays with as much emotion as anybody in the NBA. You watch him, he doesn't hide anything. I want to play him in poker because there's no way he can hide his emotions. Arenas off the mark and Chandler the rebound.
Nocioni is a fierce competitor. You talked about the young Bulls squad. They entered this season as the youngest team in the NBA, and the 7-year rebuilding program finally comes to fruition. That's a double dribble violation.
Excellent help defense. First roughing to slow him down. And the turnover, that's the 5th one for the Chicago Bulls. Gennaro Pargo, of course, hit all those 3-pointers in the last 40 seconds of Game 5 to tie it. He'll come in as Gordon will take a rest.
One of the great moments in NBA playoff history.
How about Gordon? Did not get a shot off. And he didn't score a point.
Gordon is over dribbling. He's too good a player, too smart a player.
Dixon can't hit, and there's Duhan with a long rebound.
Duhan always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
Under 2 minutes to play here in the first. Bulls came out strong early. The Wizards came back nicely. Nocioni looking for his offense. Nocioni with a big first quarter. He's got 11 points.
It was after that masterful performance that keyed the Game 1 victory for the Bulls that the Wizards said, happy birthday, Andres. Hughes right in Nocioni's face, and that's a horrendous mismatch. Nocioni cannot guard Larry Hughes.
There's Pargo. Chandler calling for it. Etan Thomas you see in the game. And a hold on Thomas. That'll be his first, and Chandler will go to the free throw line.
One of the reasons for the difficulties that the Bulls have had in the 7 years since Scottie and Michael retired is that the two promising big men, Tyson Chandler here and Eddie Curry, have been so slow to come along.
Until this year, both made big strides, including Chandler. Chandler led all NBA bench players in rebounds. Terrific shot blocker. Whereas Gordon does it offensively in the fourth quarter, Chandler does it defensively in the fourth quarter. He, of course, is a restricted free agent after this year. Talking to John Paxson, they absolutely want him back. They'll look to re-sign him. Of course, even if any other team signs him, they can match it. And that's what's so special about these Bulls. Chandler's only 22. You saw Ben Gordon. He's just 22. Heinrich's 24. Duon's 22. Curry's 22. It's amazing. The Bulls up by 2.
Nice defense by Gennaro Pargo, denying the lightning-quick Juan Dixon penetration to advance of the ball.
On the switch. Hughes again. And Chandler, not only 7 feet tall, he can jump.
Well, the range. Compton Dominguez High School in Los Angeles, legendary program. He's been on the radar since he was about 6 years old.
And a blocking foul call. Wasn't a lot of contact, but perhaps just enough. Chandler took a bad shot, and he got bailed out.
Beautiful layoff of the ball.
Yeah, just enough to alter it. Thomas didn't need to slide. It just slid just a little bit as he picks up his second foul.
Eton Thomas, who is largely responsible for bringing a level of toughness, now saddled with the 2 fouls. Jared Jeffries and Brendan Haywood are not noted bangers or guys who like to mix it up.
Chandler, who led the team in free throw attempts despite coming off the bench as Jamison returns. And that's the 12th free throw attempt of the first quarter for the Chicago Bulls.
And yet they only lead by 3. And that's not a good sign.
They'll take any lead in the first quarter the way the last couple of games. Backdoor for Arenas. Chandler right there to help. Arenas somehow got the shot off, and Davis tips him himself nicely.
The Bulls are playing straight-up defense, which I absolutely love and admire. No mindless, senseless double teaming out there to just create opportunities for the other squad.
Shot clock down to 4. Pargo off balance. Comes up short. They've got plenty of time. Jamison shot it too quickly. And Pargo comes away. That'll count if it goes, but it's off the mark. And that ends the first quarter.
Antoine Jamison does not look right physically.
And you see the Chicago Bulls, their first lead. Ending the first quarter in the whole series. Part of its defense. Last game, Wizards shot 56% from the field. Here in the first quarter, Wizards just 38%. It's an elimination game for the Bulls. So right now, in Washington, D.C., their agent Cajun James Carville, a big Wizards fan, but the Wizards down 3. Part of the reason is the job they're doing on Gilbert Arenas.
The better you get, the more they're coming after you. Gilbert Arenas on his way to the hoop. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. That's where the opening is. But with nobody moving there and the arms flailing against Gilbert Arenas, and then when they're pressuring him on the weak side, he goes back door. And then 1, 2, 3 defenders. He'll somehow find a way to get the ball up, but no chance of it going in. And his teammates can't get the ball, and Gilbert Arenas holding that left wrist. He took the tape off. He's winding it up, loosening it up, shaking it up. Not happening as Gilbert Arenas, a woeful 1 for 6 early on.
In the, of course, the heroic game in Game 5 when he was 5 for 14. That wasn't a good shooting percentage, but assistant coach Michael Corn said it was better than 4 for 14. That 5th field goal was a special one.
Shooting 40% on the series. Kurt Heinrich back in now.
Chandler had to rush it, and Davis right there for the tip in.
We are seeing a level of poise and confidence by these Bulls that we haven't seen since the opening 2 games at the United Center.
But of course, for many of them, it was their first playoff series and first playoff games on the road. It's really a learning experience. As Jamison knocks it down. Jamison now with 10. What do you remember from your first playoff game? Were you shell-shocked, Bill?
I remember the referee strike.
Pargo Pargo hits a three. I think we'll end that story there.
Probably a good idea. It was against the Chicago Bulls. And Norm Van Leer and Artis Gilmore. Oh, my gosh.
That's it all. You can play in a lot of big college games, but there's a big difference in the NBA playoffs. Dixon, that's a three. Dixon from downtown.
Penetration and dish. A better style than going one-on-one. Wizards fans commenting during the first quarter break that they were anticipating a blowout tonight. It was a little bit too close for their comfort. Too hard of a pass by Pargo.
Chandler, though, didn't look like he expected it to come. Arenas looks around, nobody near him, and he misses again. He'll try a pass to Dixon. Dixon, that's a two-pointer.
Juan Dixon, whose college coach Gary Williams is here tonight. Just a few miles away at College Park.
A couple of times now the Bulls have gone up by 8, and the Wizards come right back. Heinrich with the 2 fouls, back in, knocks it down. He's got 10 points and 4 assists in limited minutes.
What a great pace to this game. Now, if you're Juan Dixon, you got to look at Kirk Heinrich and just blast right by him there.
Pargo playing some big minutes early.
Arenas is ice cold. He's got to stop shooting that ball and start becoming a playmaker. Try to dribble it right at somebody else.
He has 4 assists as Pargo misses. And Jamison the rebound. Rebounds right now +1 for Washington. And that's a good number for Chicago because they've been getting really hurt on the boards.
But Eddie Jordan, he has got to deal with this problem that Gilbert Arenas is having with his hand not playing well.
Eddie Jordan calls timeout.
Juan Dixon, the stroke from outside. Game 4, it was a 35-point production. Just a blowout of epic proportions for the Wizards. And Kirk Heinrich coming right back. Beautiful tease and response both ways.
With the Taco Bell update with news that Steve Nash will be named MVP of the league this weekend.
A spectacular season, really. Had a huge impact on the success of that team. A lot of guys had great years, and Steve Nash was the orchestrator of that offensive machine in Phoenix.
Definitely the catalyst and one of the most special seasons that the NBA has seen collectively when you talk about the Phoenix Suns.
And the lowest ever draft pick to win an MVP. Don't forget, Sunday, ABC will have the official announcement at halftime exclusively and an interview with the winner. Steve Nash at the Tim, guys.
And welcome back, everyone, to the MCI Center. The Bulls leading the Wizards 33-30 with a little over 9 minutes to play. Joined courtside, Mark Jones here along with Steve Francis of the Orlando Magic. Steve, kind of like a Maryland reunion tonight. You got one of your former boys out there, Juan Dixon. How tough is it to see him do well, and you're obviously wishing that you're in the playoffs right now? Is that difficult?
Well, it's not really wishing that I'm in the playoffs. I know we had a lot of things that are going with our team this season, and, you know, things couldn't be prevented, but I'm not a hater. I'm happy to see some of the fellas that went to school with me to be out there balling right now. It's only a matter of time before I take the playoffs over.
And for that to happen, you guys obviously need a new coach down in Orlando. Any thoughts on who might be taking the reins of that team soon?
I think our GM, John Weisbrod, and Otis down there, they're doing a great job of doing a lot of research and seeing who they can get to come in and fit the players that we have. But right now, you know, it's time for me to relax and reflect on the season, watch some basketball.
The way things roll in the NBA, sometimes the star players get a little bit of input. Would you like a little input into who the next coach is?
I at least want to know. I don't want to have to go into the he say, she say thing. I just want to, you know, at least know who the coach is going to be, and whoever it is, we're going to take it head up and we're going to go ball.
Who do you like in this series?
I'm from D.C. I'm going to just leave it at that.
All right. He's got a house up the road, Mike. He wants to live happily ever after with the people here. Back to you.
All right, Mark. Matter of time before he takes the playoffs over. He's not shy, is he?
Love the level of confidence. Steve Francis, always one of the special players. Juan Dixon, who also went to the University of Maryland. Steve Blake now into the game.
3 players for Maryland on the Washington roster. That was the defensive 3-second. So a technical foul. Williams enjoying watching his 3 guys, 3 former players on the Washington bench.
This is a great basketball area. It just hasn't been for the NBA. Between Georgetown, University of Maryland, all the other colleges here.
Dixon comes up short. And Nocioni tracks down the rebound. Blake has hardly played in this series. Only a couple of minutes in one of the games. Nice entry pass to Funderburk, and Funderburk gets the bounce. How about Funderburk? Didn't play all season, just working out down in Florida. Gets signed in late April by Chicago, the former Sacramento King, and now on the playoff roster, getting some minutes.
7 years in Sacramento. Career came to an end. Nice attack of the offensive glass by Ruffin and Haywood. Just couldn't find it at the end.
Heinrich steps up. Nobody picked him up in transition. Funderburk trying to keep it alive. And Michael Ruffin the rebound.
This pace really favors the home team, the Washington Wizards.
Arenas.
They took him out, and he was playing so poorly.
1 for 8. Nocioni trying to keep Jamison in front of him. Good help defense from Pargo, and Jamison still flips it in.
This is not a team, the Wizards, that has a lot of vocal leaders on it. Very casual, laid-back team. Jamison is the one guy who tries to keep everything together. This guy, Dixon.
Dixon knocks it out of bounds. Still Bulls ball. Jamison, of course, last year with Dallas was his first playoff experience. When he found out he was traded, he was in North Carolina. He was at a sports bar watching ESPN. He was with Brendan Haywood and a bunch of buddies, as you see Arenas' numbers. But Haywood found out by watching ESPN, one of his friends said, hey, wait a minute, look up. You just got traded on the screen. But he said he was happy, even though Dallas was a big-time team. He liked the fact that he was going to play again with Arenas and Hughes. And he wanted to play more than he did in Dallas last year. Pargo hits a 3. Pargo, another three-pointer. And the Bulls back up by 5.
Scott Skiles got the edge here tonight. He set the tempo early with the adjustments from the starting lineup, putting Ben Gordon in it, coming quickly with Tyson Chandler, giving Pargo lots of opportunity. An offensive foul on Jamison. Nocioni continues to put his body and face right in harm's way. Tremendous job for the Bulls.
Jamison and Nocioni battling, and Nocioni can get under a player's skin. He's very physical, but Jamison has so much respect for him. We talked to Jamison yesterday, and he admires how hard Nocioni plays. Although he doesn't like it sometimes, he has a lot of respect for him.
Nocioni's got suspended for a game late in the regular season for a foul committed against these Washington Wizards. There's not shot at all.
Chandler, and a foul. And John Blake. Right now, with 6:57 remaining, the Bulls have held off a couple of real strong Wizard charges. Again, they lose, their season's over. They win, they're back to Chicago for Game 7 on Sunday afternoon. Pargo puts it in. Pargo doing it again. He's got 8 points in 7 minutes. Remember, he had 10 points in the final minute in Game 5. He had 18 points in 20 minutes in Game 4.
It's basically a continued heat check for Gennaro Pargo, who was on the Lakers and their championship teams. Shaq and Kobe.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Still Wizards ball. He was on the Lakers, but he didn't play really. And this year, Pargo only played 32 games during the regular season, just limited duty. He's a local Chicago kid. And it's one of the reasons why he's a bit of a fan favorite. Back at the United Center from Robeson High School, the south side of Chicago. Grew up a big Bulls fan. And a timeout call. Pargo nearly the unlikely hero in Game 5. He's done a good job so far in Game 6. But he's okay, stays out on the floor. Seeing him bother a little bit in the right eye.
Third-year player Jared Jeffries, who tore up his knee in the initial season. Worked the second season to get it all the way back going. The full continued on the shot clock there.
Jamison. Oh, that won't go. Hughes able to put it back up and in.
Wizards effective there, but they are so much prettier to watch when they move that ball around. They've got one-on-one talent, but when everybody gets involved, they are literally unstoppable at this mid-level.
Haywood with his second block. And Funderburk stops the fast break.
Which is a good play by Lawrence Funderburk.
So Funderburk picks up his first.
Funderburk was very sad that he couldn't continue his career in Sacramento, but after 7 long, very productive years, he had a bad Achilles injury, and realizing that his team is at a severe disadvantage in the transition defense, just commit the foul.
This is the first team foul for the Bulls. Nocione's going to get arrested. Adrian Griffin, another one of those terrific role players for the Bulls, will come into the game. Nocione gets booed. He is going to become a fun player to watch in the NBA.
That's when you know you're doing something.
Blake left open for a moment. Haywood.
Boy, Haywood really playing well in this series.
Well, he was slow to get started in his NBA career. Signed a big, nice extension this last summer. Beautiful entry pass by Blake.
And the extra pass. And Jeffries is fouled as Griffin reaches in. And Jared Jeffries will take 2. Ball movement such a key for the Washington Wizards. But they still trail by 5 here in the second.
NBA playoffs on ESPN, home of the Western Conference presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Kingdom of Heaven, now playing only in theaters.
5-point lead for the Bulls here in Game 6. A big boost for Chicago from Gennaro Pargo, just in his 3rd year in the NBA out of Arkansas. We told you, of course, that he was a big Bulls fan growing up, but he didn't go to his first live Bulls game until he was in a Laker uniform. That's the first time he went to a live game. Although as a kid he rooted for the team, and boy, he is really doing some scoring in the last couple of games.
Harder these days to sneak into these buildings. They've increased the security here, but Gennaro Pargo, he scored 10 points in only 3 minutes of action in Game 5. And since the NBA instituted the shot clock 40 years ago, 50 years ago, excuse me, only one other player has scored double-digit points while playing as few as 3 minutes in an NBA playoff game, and that would be Flynn Robinson, who scored 12 in 3 minutes of action for the world champion Lakers in 1972.
Tell me something about Mr. Robinson.
And Flynn tells me every time I see him out there in Southern California that he was a defensive player, and now I see that he has the record for gunning it up there in less than 3 minutes, 12 points.
Pargo guns that one up, rushed it a bit. Jeffries trying to hold on. Thunderbird kept it alive, but here comes Jared Jeffries.
Great closeout defense by Kurt Heinrich.
You just look out there at the Bulls. They've got Gennaro Pargo, Adrian Griffin, Lawrence Thunderbird. With all the injuries and the foul problems, Blake can't get it to go, and Griffin comes in. These are all good, solid players, but not the ones you expect to be out here in Game 6.
Well, you look at them and you say, these guys are winning, and the fact that Ben Gordon hasn't even scored in the game yet.
He hasn't played in a long stretch now. He picked up a couple of fouls.
And their starting center, Othella Harrington, hasn't scored either, and they're winning.
Griffin draws the foul and puts it in. Adrian Griffin with a chance for a 3-point play.
But that's what's great about this Bulls team. It's not built around a superstar. Very much like the model for the world champion Detroit Pistons.
And Griffin with a nice play. Griffin's another guy, a great story. He wasn't drafted out of Seton Hall back in '96. Didn't make the NBA till '99. Played in Italy, the USBL, the CBA. He got his start. Rick Pitino had him come to camp in Boston, and he seemed to, when they scrimmaged, he was on the winning team every single scrimmage. And Pitino says, something's got to be with this guy. His teams always win.
You know who else was like that for the Celtics? The Hall of Famer Casey Jones. Forced shot that time. Great Bulls defense.
Which has not been there the last couple of games, but they are playing extremely well here on the road. Griffin's going to try again. Adrian Griffin knocks it down.
This crowd is stunned. They were expecting a rout.
Instead, they've got a 9-point lead, largest of the game for the Chicago Bulls. Arenas. And Arenas with his second field goal.
The two hands raised in the air by the defense, signaling the zone defense, drop back into the collapsing zone for the homestanding Wizards.
Heinrich attacks the goal inside. Chandler.
Heinrich with 6 assists here in the first half.
Heinrich has shown greater quickness than any perimeter player in this game tonight.
And the Bulls bench doing it again. They call Thunderbird for a foul. It's going to be his second and the team's third. So the Wizards will take it out of bounds. Antonio Davis will return, and look at that bench scoring, Bill.
It's normally the Washington Wizards who come in with great bench play.
But the Bulls, a big bench team as well. And let's not forget their best bench player started the game. Number one by far in the playoffs in bench scoring. But Gordon doesn't count on the bench scoring tonight. You're just tuning in. He started in place of Duhon, who's been bothered by that back. Count it and one. Jeffries sneaking inside and a chance for the three-point play.
Again, the ball movement superb for Washington when they're at the top of their game. When they try to play too much one-on-one, the ball movement from the low post, the back cut by Jeffries. Gilbert Arenas, you would think, would just turn and face when he's got one of those other guards in there. Use that quickness. He's not really a power player, Arenas.
Jeffries completes the three-point play. 6-point Chicago lead.
That double fist is designed for zone defense.
How about these two high-scoring guards? Struggling a bit offensively here in the first half. And it's still Bulls ball. 12 on the shot clock. Scott Skiles felt that his team was going to play well. Just had an instinct, because they certainly didn't in Game 5 to start the game. They started strong here tonight in Game 6. Hughes with the steal. Gordon has 2 fouls, so he has to let him go. He led the NBA in steals per game this season. Highest average in 10 years since Scottie Pippen did it 10 years ago.
Few players can match the athleticism of Larry Hughes.
Back-to-back steal. Oh, Chandler with a hard foul, and it's going to be a flagrant. Jimmy Clark put up 2 fingers right away. It appeared he was going to call a flagrant. Yep, it's going to be a flagrant 1. So it'll be 2 free throws and the ball.
Uncalled for play by Tyson Chandler. And even more uncalled for saying something to Larry Hughes like he did absolutely nothing wrong.
So Hughes will take 2 free throws, no question. I mean, a hard foul, but unnecessary. That's the definition of a flagrant foul, unnecessary contact. So Hughes will shoot 2 free throws. Wizards will then get the ball and a chance to cut into the Chicago
NBA playoffs on ESPN, home of the Western Conference Finals.
And welcome back to New York. Coming up on the Toyota Halftime Show, we'll look ahead to the 2 Game 7s that will be played tomorrow. Plus, we'll talk about Steve Nash as the MVP. First half?
The Wizards came out tight, but they closed quarters well, going into the half with some momentum.
Well, but the bottom line is this. You see that the Bulls came out and set the table early. They will be in this game. I still think they're going to win it.
Wizards better get their act together before the game gets tight, because when the game gets tight, backsides get tight, and Lord knows what will happen then.
Tight like
I will
We'll see at halftime. Back to Mike and Bill.
That's on Larry Hughes in his 3rd year with the Wizards. Led the NBA, as we said, in steals per game. Back-to-back steals here to ignite the Wizards.
The quickness, the athleticism, the anticipation of Hughes, who's got the big front line of Brendan Haywood behind him to erase any mistakes. That was the first one. This second one, though, when Hughes gets out, strips the ball from Chandler, who then comes, and a completely unnecessary play. No place in basketball for situations like that. Tyson Chandler, he knows better.
So Hughes will shoot a couple of free throws. Hughes in his 7th year in the league now. Only played 1 year of college ball at St. Louis University. He gets the first. He was a first-round pick of the Sixers way back in '98. Only played a year and a half with Philly. And I remember Larry Brown years ago when he was coaching him saying this guy has potential to be a great defender. And then he went to Golden State and went through a lot of losing seasons in Golden State. Since he's returned here, every year gotten a little better, and coming off his best season in the NBA, Larry Hughes, a big part of the Wizards' success.
No matter how much individual talent you have, if you're not playing on a good team, your defensive efforts are wasted.
7 straight points by Washington. And a 2-point Chicago lead. Arenas, strong drive to the goal, and a foul. Tie game.
Arenas has shaken off a horrendous start. He and Chris Duhon go all the way back to when they were both getting started in college. They played in the 2001 NCAA championship game in Minneapolis, won by the Duke Blue Devils over Arizona.
So Arenas, you see the 8 points. He's just 3 of 10 shooting. But a difference in his game, Bill, this year is, again, getting his teammates involved. You saw 5 assists. So he's not shooting the ball well, but he's still getting his teammates involved.
Gilbert doesn't look comfortable physically. I know his dad is here. His grandfather is here. Hippolito on the left, the grandfather, Gilbert Sr. on the right in the blue. A very proud family.
Hughes knocks it away from Duhan. Larry Hughes smothering right now on the defensive end. Wizards back up by 1. Griffin finding some room. Nice extra pass. And a foul from Jamison. So Chandler will shoot 2. Jack Neese quickly gets in and separates the players. It's been a physical game as we send it to Mark Jones.
You guys were talking about Gilbert Arenas a few moments ago and how he's gotten his teammates involved. That began with the help of his father, Gilbert Sr. You saw him a few moments ago on your screen. Prior to Game 3, the two of them were sitting down at Gilbert Sr.'s home watching South Park, and then he popped in a videotape and made Gilbert Jr. listen to the criticisms of certain television analysts saying that he wasn't getting his teammates involved. Well, Gilbert Jr. listened, and obviously he got the point, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Mark. From what I understand, one of the television analysts said, that was terrible passing.
Gilbert in this series, 8 assists in Game 1, 4 assists in Game 2, 7 assists in Game 3, 6 in Game 4, 8 in Game 5. Averaging 6.5 assists per game, and that's wonderful.
Inside, Haywood able to put it in. Haywood again, his numbers are not going to blow you away, but he's starting to become a very effective player just with his presence.
They're just backing off Adrian Griffith from the perimeter.
Shot clock winding down. Griffith trying to get inside. Flips it up.
Haywood is everywhere.
He's got 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 block shots.
Perfect time to dump it inside in the middle to him. Get him going.
Arenas trying to draw a foul. Jamison comes up with a loose ball. Can't get it to fall, and Funderburk can't control it. Wizards ball.
Haywood kept it alive. Just a little flip, forcing Lawrence Funderburk to misread it. Well, the Wizards have a lead here. Maintain that push. Get the crowd going. Heinrich to the bench. Protect his foul situation. Pargo playing very well in limited minutes.
Arenas stepped out of bounds. He threw it off Pargo, but he stepped on the sideline first. And that's the 8th turnover for the Wizards. That's one of the big areas for them. Last year, they were #1 in the NBA. They turned the ball over more than any team in the league. But this year, they turned that around. They were 3rd in the NBA in fewest turnovers.
You know what they're #1 in this year? Offensive rebounds. Who would have ever thought?
Coming up on a minute remaining in the first half.
Zone defense again. All they can do is pass it around the perimeter.
No Heinrich, no Gordon out on the floor. Not a big offensive team for the Bulls. Ball tipped several times. Chandler on the follow. Tyson Chandler should get back on defense rather than pump his chest there. Hughes with a little fake. Larry Hughes with 15 points here in the first half. He's 6 of 10 from the field.
2 for 1 time if you're Chicago. Look at this roster that the Bulls have out on the court right now.
Pargo's long shot taken by Griffin.
Now backing out and playing for the last shot.
Pargo for 3. Pargo his 3rd three-pointer, and he's got 11 points here in the first half.
When you're Gennaro Pargo, you're never pulling it back out.
When you're Pargo, you want to play against the Wizards all the time. Unbelievable. The seldom used Pargo has become an offensive force the last several games. Meanwhile, shot clock and game clock nearly identical. Griffin with the steal. Everybody diving for it. That'll count if it goes. Too strong. And a terrific way to end. Both teams with some great hustle, Bill.
What defense by the Bulls. I mean, this is not a team, Chicago, that's loaded with name players. And they're just playing with so much heart, so much discipline.
They might put some time back out because it was a 24-second violation, because no one actually had, the Bulls never got possession of the ball. So they're going to put time back on the clock. Even though the Bulls knocked the ball away, they never had possession, so the shot clock was supposed to continue and did, and would have expired.
They've got to get some of the fans back in their seats here so they can get this last fraction of a second played.
So the veteran crew of Jack Neese, Bernie Fryer, and Jimmy Clark right on top of it.
Get a big man on the ball. Jared Jeffries deny the vision of inbounder Adrian Griffiths.
Duhon. He's not even going to attempt.
Come on. Chris Duhon cannot be concerned about his field goal percentage. Please. We haven't gone that far, have we?
But the Bulls have to be happy with what happened in the first half. And let's go to Mark Jones with Tyson Chandler.
Tyson, 9 points for you off the bench. For the first time in the series, you guys led after the first quarter. What was different about tonight's first quarter?
I mean, our backs are against the wall. You know, like it says, you know, win or go home. And we got to win tonight. You know, we're going to get it back to the UC. We want to get in front of our fans in Chicago.
Very physical in the second quarter. Why did it turn that way?
It's been that way the whole series. And, you know, we're going to take a foul. We got to take a foul. You know, we've been letting them get in one. So I just want to make sure he ain't going to score on me.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mark. Chandler, a big force off the bench. And the bench playing well once again for Chicago. Coming up at halftime, the Toyota Halftime Show with John Gregg, Tim, and Stephen A. Celtics and the Pacers. A recap of that wild game last night. Same thing with the Mavericks and the Robins. And we'll talk MVP talk. Well, Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jamison, they're the all-stars for Washington, but that other member of the Big Three, Larry Hughes, had 15. Meanwhile, Gennaro Pargo, 11 points off the bench for the Bulls. They need a win to keep their season going. Up 2 at half. Six men who got to start tonight. With Washington, we talked about Gilbert Arenas and what he had to do. But you look at the role players and some of the other players, as happens often in this series, other guys have picked up the slack. Gordon having a nightmare first half.
The story of these playoffs is the unpredictability of how it's played out. Gordon has yet to score, didn't even take a shot. Gilbert Arenas did get 9, but that was very, very late. The other guys, it was Pargo off the deep, deep bench. Scott Skiles realizing got to go with the hot hand, and then Adrian Griffin comes in and just toys with whoever guarded him. Tyson Chandler, in spite of the fact that he picked up a silly, careless, foolish, flagrant foul, did a very nice job at times on the offensive glass.
Meanwhile, Chandler, who came off the bench and was a presence, he'll be joined on the bench right now by Gordon. Gordon, who started the first half because of Duhon's back, but Duhon's back obviously feeling a little better, a little more loosened up, so he starts the second half. Heinrich had some early foul problems, played well when he was on the floor.
The best part of NBA basketball, the start of the third quarter.
Not a good start, though, for Chicago as they turn it over. Why is that the best part?
Because
the start of the third quarter.
This is when the referees let it go. This is when they put their whistle. This is when fate is decided. This is when history and legends are made.
Bill, you're in the Hall of Fame, but I prefer the last 2 minutes of the fourth.
Well, you can't get there until you're right here first.
That's a very good point. Jeffries hits a three. Jared Jeffries from downtown. And that's his first three-pointer of the series.
Supporting cast for both squads doing the job. Jared Jeffries, such a key for Eddie Jordan at both ends of the court.
Nocioni played well early.
Over-dribbling Nocioni.
And off his foot. So a couple of turnovers to start for Chicago.
And now the crowd coming alive. You got to capitalize if you're Washington right now. Get to the hoop. You get a free throw right here, this arena will erupt.
In game 3, the first one played here in this series at the MCI Center, Bulls hung tough for a while, but in the second half, especially the fourth, the Wizards pulled away. As Hayward now with 8 points.
How long does Scott Skiles keep Gordon and Chandler on the bench?
And believe it or not, this three-point advantage, the largest for Washington, that quickly disappears as Duhon knocks down the three.
Not a noted outside shooter, Chris Duhon.
He can get hot. He had one game earlier this season where he had 8 three-pointers in a game. That's a Bulls record. But overall, not strong in percentage.
More importantly, most importantly, he's a winner, Chris Duhon.
Arenas what he wants to turn around about his reputation, that he's a winner, and he's turned Washington into one this year.
Nice step out by Antoine Jamison, forcing him back away from where he wants to go.
Nocioni spots up, hits a three. So a couple of threes for the Bulls. Nocioni with 14 points.
Jared Jeffries doing his Scottie Pippen imitation.
Nice pass, but Hughes couldn't hold on. Yeah, let's check in with Mark Jones.
Well, guys, at halftime, defensively, Washington coaches talking about, guys, we have to find Tyson Chandler and keep him off the offensive glass. We also have to pick up Jannero Pargo much sooner in the offensive scheme because he is killing us offensively. You've seen it happen so far here in the second half. They're getting good looks. They're happy with the way they're executing at the offensive end. Back to you guys.
All right, Mark. Heinrich draws the foul. Eddie Jordan talked yesterday about how the team had to recover emotionally from the Game 5. That he felt that they were so pumped up, but there's still obviously one win to go. And just put them through a light practice yesterday so they could, as he said, recover.
You have to come down before you get back up. Michael Ruffin waiting his opportunity, the impact that he's had, along with Etan Thomas. Thomas plagued by foul trouble earlier. Just a nightmare for Etan.
Well, Joe, what a job he's done in his second year with the Wizards. They were banged up last year. Arenas missed a good portion of the season. They only won 25 games, where he has turned it around. Eddie Jordan, who had a nice career as a player, and as an assistant, certainly with New Jersey and Sacramento, as Nocioni knocks it away. Harrington can't hold on.
Pull it out, run some offense, get everybody involved here.
Hughes won't go, and Nocioni goes high for the rebound. Davis running the floor. Antonio Davis, and he blows the layup.
Find Arenas in transition here.
That's a three. And Davis comes down again. Nocioni all over the floor.
He seems to be on the deck at least every other possession.
A human mop out there as Heinrich knocks down the three. And the Bulls 8 for 12 from three-point range in the game.
And they stay right up in the Wizards' face. They are playing the way Scott Skiles lives his life, Chicago.
8-0 run right now for Chicago. Jamison, quick shot. And all of a sudden, the ball movement not there. And it's Duhan the rebound, and Duhan really hurt himself on that play.
The home team settling for perimeter jumpers when the crowd is ready to explode. Duhan can't even move out there.
Boy, you can see him grimacing. Anyone who's ever experienced that low back pain, the back spasms. Heinrich gets fancy.
Great pass.
And a fella Harrington keeping it alive. Bulls playing. They are playing with such desperation.
They're playing harder. More importantly, they're playing smarter. And this guy, Kurt Heinrich, is the quickest player in the game.
Davis can't hit. And loose ball foul is going to go against the Wizards. Harrington was the only Bull player in there. And they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Haywood. That's his second.
Jordan beside himself, someone who's really brought a level of optimism and hope here to this once woebegone franchise.
Heinrich inside. And the lead is right back up to 8.
Timeout.
A 10-0 run. Chicago Bulls needing to win on the road. They certainly struggle on the road in this series, but right now an 8-point lead early in the third.
Presentation of the NBA playoffs brought to you by new metered release Aerometrics for a long-lasting auto fragrance that's never out of control.
The Washington Wizards trying to clinch their first playoff series in 23 years. 81-year-old Dave Poland has seen some rough times over the years. And since the last time they had a playoff series win, look at all the different players and coaches. 3 different home courts and even a name change.
Well, there's been 4 different names in the history of the franchise. The Bulls, in the meantime, have won 31 playoff series since 1982. Second only to the Lakers, who have won 49 in that same stretch. But the Wizards have not played a Game 6 in 26 years. It's 1979 when they beat San Antonio in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, forcing a Game 7 to get to their second consecutive NBA Finals.
It's been a slow, gradual improvement as the shot clock winding down, and Jeffries hits the three. You know, a couple of years ago, when Michael Jordan came to play, Doug Collins came to coach, they regained some credibility, and the building blocks were started there. Now Ernie Grunfeld and Eddie Jordan have really taken the next step for this franchise.
And tomorrow is the 3rd anniversary of the day they fired Michael Jordan, May 7th.
Harrington inside, can't finish.
2 layups missed in the last minute here.
Arenas with the deflection. Duhan with that bad back dives on the floor, and Harrington is fouled. And Duhan, you can just see he's in pain. He doesn't want to give into it. What a terrific hustle play from Chris Duhan.
Wherever he goes, his teams win. Chris Duhan can barely move, standing out there, dives for this ball, and then just scoops it right over to Othello Harrington, who's quite a career story of his own. The years in Vancouver. Harrington, are you old enough to remember those years, Mike?
Harrington playing for his 4th NBA team, played for Vancouver, played for the Knicks, started with Houston. Rudy Tomjanovich always loved him. He's always outsized. Every night he plays, the guy he's against is bigger than him, but he works so hard.
But he's the classic CYO player. Just underneath the hoop and just pump fakes, pump fakes, pump fakes. Hopefully some bigger guy's going to go for it.
Nocioni, the foul, his second. Chris Duhan appeared to look over to the Bulls bench before. I don't know if he's looking to come out of the game, but he's staying in right now as Chandler comes in and Harrington will get a rest. Chandler getting booed every time now he does something because he committed a flagrant foul in the first half.
Well, there's a long history between Tyson Chandler and Brendan Haywood. Tough shot.
Chandler the rebound. These two teams, they had a fight in preseason that led to suspensions. Haywood was involved, Chandler, Antonio Davis. So there was some bad blood even before the regular season began. Hopefully they'll stay away from that stuff, knowing the importance of this game. Heinrich for 3. Banks it in from straight on. That's their 9th three-pointer of the game.
And they stay right with this press. Superb level of physical fitness here despite all the injuries for Scott Skiles and the Bulls.
Heinrich got 20 points and the lead back up to 8. He's got the last 10 Chicago points. And Jamison with a nice finish.
The total difference of play when they pass the ball around as opposed to the one-on-one jacked it up ill-advised shot from the perimeter with the defender right in their face.
Chandler inside, way off the mark. But Chandler's hustle takes the ball away. Shot clock is not reset.
Didn't hit the rim.
Heinrich's shot doesn't hit the rim either. And an 8-point lead for Chicago. He's got now their last 12 points and 22 for the game to go along with 7 assists. Larry Hughes with a hand in his face. Chandler with a 7th board.
It's Chandler, it's Heinrich, it's Duhan.
Nocioni. Nice soft touch. And Nocioni's got 16, and it's the largest lead of the game for the Chicago Bulls. And Eddie Jordan wants a 20-second timeout.
And the fans behind us yelling, we've already bought our tickets to Miami. What's going on here? It has been an absolute clinic by Kirk Heinrich, who was just pulling the trigger at will, banking it in without calling it, and coming right around that high screen. Antonio Davis doing a lot of good things for the Bulls that don't get mentioned. Then Nocioni, movement without the ball. Heinrich so adept at just laying it off perfectly, softly, right into the shooter's hand. This is beautiful basketball by the Chicago Bulls.
A 17-5 run. And we'll remind you, coming up this weekend, of course, tomorrow's a big day on TNT. 2 Game 7s. Pacers and Celtics from Boston. Rockets and Mavericks from Dallas. And then Sunday on ABC. It all depends on what happens here tonight. Will it be Game 7 for Scott Skiles, or will it be Game 1 for Gilbert Arenas in Miami? Either way, we'll have it for you on ABC on Sunday.
Celtics 17-4 all-time in Game 7s.
I think they've got a little different personnel than some of the other ones. Arenas too hard. Nocioni, strong rebound, and a loose ball foul against the Wizards. And that's their 14th foul.
Very small lineup right now for Eddie Jordan. And Eton Thomas, who's a major factor in force for him, he has not had a chance to get any sort of rhythm, plagued by foul troubles right now. He is slow and late to the ball most times.
Heinrich spots up. He's got a couple of points to himself. A rare quick shot. Hughes gets inside. Was it blocked? Yes. So it's still going to be Washington ball. Hughes wanted the foul. No, they did call the foul. I didn't hear the whistle.
You can't hear a thing.
So Nocioni picks up his third.
There's just no way that this matchup is going to work. Tyson Chandler appeared to have great position and the grabbing of the jersey with the left hand. A very effective defense that probably learned in the Pampas.
So Hughes will shoot some free throws.
Nocioni is one of those guys who just takes all his money and he goes and buys more farmland. He's a cowboy. And he just keeps buying all these cattle, heads right back there to the outskirts of the Pampas. As soon as the season's over, they never hear from him again until the season starts up again.
He hasn't had a chance to do a lot of that. He's had a long year basketball-wise, of course, in Athens throughout the whole Olympics. And this is the longest season of his life. And he's playing a lot of minutes, Bill. During the regular season, he only played 23 minutes a game. In the playoffs, because no Curry, no Luol Deng, he's playing 33 minutes a game. Heinrich, nice feed. Offensive foul. Davis just lowered the shoulder and barreled into him. And that's his third foul.
The beautiful defensive rotation. Heinrich so willing to give up the ball. Ruffin giving up his body there.
That may have been a block. His foot was in the restricted area, and Davis seemed to get the ball outside of the lower defensive box. That may have been a bad call. Hughes. A little hop step for Hughes, and he's got 19.
The level of athleticism of these players is just remarkable. Hughes, who looks like a diminutive guy.
They're back in that zone defense, Bill.
Juan Dixon into the game. Beautiful passing, Antonio Davis.
Chandler blows the layup. Blocked by Ruffin from behind. Heinrich spying up Pargo for three. And Ruffin with the hustle play.
Some big man for the Wizards is going to have to come alive here. It's Chandler, it's Antonio Davis who are controlling the paint right now.
Arenas has not shot well tonight so far. Now 4 for 14. Ruffin with the offensive rebound. Hughes. And Antonio Davis runs it down for his 8th board.
Terrible shot selection. No floor balance. You had a full shot clock.
Pargo. And Pargo a little bit out of control right now as he picks up the offensive foul.
But he's not slowing down, nor should he. You are not going to back into a victory here. If you're the Bulls, keep attacking.
The role players continue to play prominent roles in Game 6. It's a 6-point lead for the Bulls.
The NBA playoffs on ESPN, home of the Western Conference Finals.
Not be about his eventual induction.
He hasn't taken a shot. He started the game, gotten some foul problems. He has 5 turnovers, as you see. And Scott Skiles puts guys out there who are playing well. And he holds guys accountable. Now, you'll see Gordon in the 4th quarter. That's where he shines. But not only was he not scoring, but he was turning it over and having his problems defensively. Gordon has had a great, great season. But a learning experience here. Arenas can't hit the 3. Chandler keeps it alive. And Heinrich comes away.
Heinrich has had such an impact on this game. Defensively that time, able to get back up after getting knocked to the ground.
One of the reasons they're able to have this lead without Gordon is the play of Heinrich. 22 points and 8 assists. And Pargo.
Tyson Chandler has been right there as well. Dominant on the defensive boards.
Hughes saw a quick move on his block by Davis. Boy, looked like there was a lot of contact. Hughes can't believe it. But obviously, Davis with the block. And 14 on the shot clock.
What did I say about the referees putting the whistles away in the third quarter of the deciding game? That's a great block by Antonio Davis.
No, that's a foul. He came down on him.
You're a guard.
Dixon. And ball, Michael Ruffin tips it away. Two Bulls had a beat on the ball, and Ruffin tipped it away.
Oh, Ruffin was so wide open.
There's a reason for that. There's Hughes. With that shot, Heinrich with a rebound.
But if they continue to throw up these shots here on the floor right now, Heinrich and Pargo letting it fly. Adrian Griffin doing a nice job, and the big guys, Chandler and Davis, contributing mightily.
Heinrich mad at himself. Davis couldn't handle a fast pass, and that's the 13th Bull turnover. Nocioni back in the game as Davis will come off. There you see Arenas just the 11 points on 4 of 15 shooting.
But look how Thomas and Ruffin at the bottom of that list. 0 points. Those guys were major contributors in this 3 games in a row won by the Wizards.
Ruffin, though, not for his scoring, but for his defense and rebound. Well, he has some scoring.
The intangibles for Ruffin have been very good.
And Adrian Griffin, speaking of intangibles, comes down with a rebound. Griffin has played 8 solid minutes off the bench and contributed. Dixon right up on Pargo.
I love that matchup, Dixon and Pargo.
Griffin gets inside. Has to put it up. And Nocioni with the offensive rebound. Chandler trying to find some room. Under a minute to play in the third.
Not quite sure why Tyson Chandler just doesn't rise up and throw that dunk down.
Something he'll perhaps learn.
2 for 1 here if you're the Wizards.
Shot clock down to 5. Arenas, not a good shot at all. But a last touch by Nocioni. However, the ball did not hit the rim, so the shot clock did not reset. Arenas thought he was fouled.
The Wizards have got to quit complaining to the referee and start attacking the rim. 3 on the shot clock.
So they call out the play. Jim Clark gets it to use. Dixon, quick catch and shoot. Eton Thomas with the offensive rebound. Chandler knocks it away, and it's going to be Bulls ball. Tyson Chandler with another big play. And some concern for Eddie Jordan.
Eddie Jordan, who was once traded from New Jersey, where he led the NBA in steals, to the Lakers to take Magic Johnson's spot, realizes that his team right now is up against it.
Here you see the Bulls haven't scored in 4:15, yet they still lead by 6 because the Wizards have missed their last 9 shots from the field.
Heinrich continuing to just torch him on this pick and roll here.
Ball knocked around, and Ruffin comes up with it again. Ruffin 5 rebounds. Hughes can't get it to fall. Chandler the rebound, and that will end. That shot would not have counted, and that will end the third.
Bulls are playing as a team. The Wizards are playing as individuals, and that's the reason the Bulls are on their way to a Game 7.
Fourth quarter coming up. If the Bulls win, Game 7 Sunday in Chicago. Washington win. The Washington Wizards with a chance to clinch their first playoff series win in 23 years, but they're down 6, and this was on their board in their locker room. Eddie Jordan wants them to enjoy, improve, and get that closure. Kind of tough to enjoy the way the Chicago Bulls have played them defensively so far, Bill.
He's not gotten that. Eddie Jordan has done his best to try to loosen this team up a bit. But as we see with these middle-of-the-pack teams who play so much better as the underdogs, right now it's the desperate straits of the Chicago Bulls that have completely controlled this game, literally from the outset. And there's another opportunity for Kirk Heinrich to dominate.
Well, the Bulls have been playing like the team that led the NBA in opponents' field goal percentage, setting a franchise mark for it. They were superb this year on the defensive end.
Gilbert Arenas is just a woeful 4 for 16, and the Bulls are holding the Wizards to 38%.
Arenas lost it. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Haywood, and Haywood fouled. A host of Bulls could be the culprit of that one, as Brendan Haywood will shoot 2 free throws. Griffith in the area, and that's who the foul is on. That's his second.
Brendan Haywood, who has come so far. An only child born in New York. raised in Greensboro, North Carolina. Played college basketball with the likes of George Lynch, Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace. In the summertime, Brendan Haywood is the color commentator for the Washington Mystics of the WNBA, working with Dee Lynam, the daughter of ex-Washington Wizards coach Jim Lynam.
Just another tall analyst. Heinrich gets inside. By the way, those points, the first points in over 4 minutes for either team. Nocioni flips it up and in. Nocioni having a strong game, 18 points.
The great thing about this game for the Bulls is that they're so outmatched in terms of talent, size, and athleticism, yet they're just going right at the Wizards.
Heinrich, good defense. And Arenas now 4 for 17. And you see Gordon starting the fourth quarter. Adrian Griffin getting it over. Nocioni can't hit. And Griffin comes up with a loose ball.
Where is the defensive rebounding presence for the Wizards?
And Griffin puts it in. Adrian Griffin, a huge impact off the bench. She's got 7 points and 4 rebounds. And the lead is up to 9 for Chicago. The crowd has been so into it all game. A little anxious right now. Arenas. And a foul on the way to the basket. It's going to go against Heinrich. And that's Heinrich's third.
But everything trying to be done one-on-one off the dribble. Scott Skiles just absolutely cannot believe the bailout call, as Arenas had nowhere to go.
So he'll get to the free throw line. Arenas is playing so many minutes. Coming into this game, he's played all but 4 minutes of this series. He's got a chance to sit a little bit here in tonight's game. But he's second in the NBA playoffs in minutes per game behind Iverson, 46.5. ABC has more NBA playoff action this Sunday. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern with GMC NBA Hang Time at 3:30. You're going to see the Wizards and Chicago in Game 7 from United Center. Or the Wizards and the Heat, Game 1 from Miami in the second round. NBA playoffs here on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
Durability has never been an issue with Gilbert Arenas. A missed free throw there. I used to have to go and yank him out of the gym when he was playing down there at McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona for Hall of Famer Lute Olson. Just playing too much.
Nocioni. Griffin gets it inside. A little fake, and Nocioni can't get it to fall. Griffin tips it, but Jamison right there.
When Haywood goes to block those shots, the rest of his teammates are not covering his backside.
2 minutes gone by here in the fourth. So much time remaining. Jamison. Good help defense from Chandler. And look at Adrian Griffin again.
Continued horrendous shot selection for the Washington Wizards, who are just shooting themselves.
Griffin on the pull-up. Wizards shooting 37% from the field. They were 56% in Game 5. Haywood triple team. Jamison for 3. Scott Skiles wants time.
That was the quickest time out.
He was on the court before the ball went through the net. And that's the Wizards' first field goal in 6.5 minutes. Antoine Jamison, a huge 3. And with 2.5 gone by here in the fourth, Wizards back within 5.
ESPN.com, keyword Sprite, to see if any plays from tonight's game make it into this week's Sprite Courtside Countdown. Mike and Bill, back to you.
All right, John, Bulls still lead by 5. You talk about teams being a mirror of their coach. The Bulls are a scrappy bunch, much like Scott Skiles, great player at Michigan State, 10 years in the NBA. And also, at 41 years old, third youngest head coach in the league. Coached in a lot of places, including Greece. He remembers they used to throw coins at him, had a plexiglass in front of the bench. He learned to deal with distractions. Heinrich gets inside. Griffin left wide open. And Ruffin with another big rebound. It shows you Ruffin on the court at this time of the game, what Eddie Jordan thinks of him.
And the fact that this crowd has just gone through the roof. Hughes able to turn the corner and not get to the free throw line. His hands on his hips, just irate at the referees.
I think he's mad, but he's calmly mad. As Chandler with good help defense. But Chandler has been a nice presence on the defensive end, as always. Arenas, where he just can't get anything to fall. He's missed 7 shots in a row as a foul call. So the Bulls will take it out of bounds.
At some point, Gilbert Arenas has to say, it's not happening. I've got to do something else. But to take 18 shots.
He's following his grandfather.
Hippolito and Gilbert Sr. Hippolito on the left lives in Tampa. Gilbert Sr. in Los Angeles, where he's an actor.
Will Ben Gordon get on track? Missed the 4th quarter, is still scoreless in the game. Nocioni. And Andres Nocioni had 25 points in game 1. He's got 20 here in game 6.
And everything for the Bulls coming off a pass. They're driving at other defenders, creating opportunities. At the Wizards, on the other hand, one-on-one every single time.
That's exactly what you were talking about, Bill.
Set somebody else up.
That's his 7th assist and an easy 2 for Haywood.
Heinrich working off screen. The versatility of Adrian Griffin.
Gordon fires away. And Gordon with his first shot attempt of the game. And Ruffin comes away with another rebound.
Chandler ran out of bounds and came back in. The effort to get to that offensive glass.
Arenas blocked by Chandler. And Hayward lost it, but he was fouled. They're not in the penalty yet unless they call it in the act. Nope, they'll take it out of bounds. That foul against Adrian Griffin is 3rd.
Very physical out there. I can't remember when the last time the crowd sat down, Mike.
We saw that last night in those games in Houston and in Indiana. The playoffs heating up. Arenas for 3. Big shot from Arenas. He had missed his last 8 shots from the field, but he cuts the deficit to 2. Nocioni. Ruffin wrestles it away, but they call a held ball beforehand. How about Michael Ruffin? Another strong game. Ruffin, a former Bull. Played his first couple of years there, then bounced around, played in Spain for a couple of years. Used sparingly, but when he's out there, he gives it everything he's got.
Played his college ball, Ruffin did in Tulsa, where he was recruited by Tubby Smith. Critical jump ball, possession right here. Nice quickness by Michael Ruffin.
Michael Ruffin just making big plays. Hughes. Game is knocked away. And a foul called. It's going to go against Nocioni, and that's his 4th.
The Wizards still waiting for the referees to swing to their side. You got to force that action.
They say, not in the act, obviously, is again Nocioni now with 4 fouls. That's their 14th foul. Chris Duhon's going to come into the game. Nocioni trying to talk to Jack Neese about the call.
They're taking Gordon out. There's something going on here. I mean, Gordon, he has yet to take a shot, or he took 1 shot.
That last one, he just took it. He was scoreless in 16 minutes.
And that was an awful shot selection.
Great ball denial from Heinrich. Arenas wanted it, couldn't get it. Chandler with the block. But credit Heinrich. They wanted to get it to Arenas, and his ball denial would not allow it.
Heinrich just never stops moving out here. Beautiful setup past Duhon.
Nocioni and a reaching foul on Michael Ruffin. That's his 2nd, and only the team's 2nd, so the Bulls will take it out.
The Wizards are so close. If they could just get over that hump, make some smart plays, dominate their own defensive backboards, play more individual man-to-man defense as opposed to gambling and double teaming.
The Bulls have led most of the game. Their largest lead has been 10. Heinrich stripped And still Bulls ball with 5 on the shot clock.
And now you've got the Bulls trapped over in that corner. Keep them there. You got all kinds of players. You got the Wizards bench standing up. Force any receiver to catch along that baseline and then just double team him. The shot clock is your teammate as well as the baseline.
Duhan finding Chandler, and Chandler is fouled by Ruffin.
It couldn't have worked worse for the Washington Wizards on that point.
So Chandler would go to the free throw line.
But they had everything in their favor, and they get they give up a wide open layup. Put the guy on the free throw line.
Chandler, we talked about his high school earlier, played his high school ball, was a high school teammate of Tayshaun Prince of the Pistons.
Well, it's one of the legendary basketball programs at the high school level.
A big miss. A reminder, log on to NBAstore.com for official playoff merchandise and gear up for the playoffs at NBAstore.com. Ben Gordon, just one of those nights. He's had a spectacular rookie year, but a brutal game 6.
And they're winning.
And Chandler makes it a 3-point game.
Thanks in large part to Tyson Chandler with his defense, his work on the offensive glass. Eddie Jordan forced to call a timeout here.
It's an elimination game for the Bulls. They're playing like it. They lead by.
A fiercely contested battle throughout. Set the tone, though, with Kirk Heinrich denying Gilbert Arenas. Heinrich will not even let Arenas touch the ball wherever he is, and then with the shot clock at 8, Haywood knows he has to go it himself, and the individual defensive capabilities playing in unison of Heinrich, Nocioni, Tyson Chandler set up that beautiful stop tonight. The first half field goal percentage 44-30 in the second half for the Wizards. What defense by the Bulls.
Wizards have played some pretty good defense of their own. They're not known for that. As Arenas with the shot clock down to 8. Foul. Shot won't go. And they're in the penalty now as Heinrich picks up his 4th, and Arenas will shoot 2. This has a chance, these two teams, to have a nice long rivalry for a number of years. They're 2 of the best up-and-coming teams in the NBA. Their star players are all so young. They've got 2 terrific young head coaches. We might see these matchups in playoffs for a lot of years to come.
Good.
You see the 5 of 20. This one's going to come down to free throw shooting, because you're going to have a lot of big free throws down the stretch.
But more importantly, who can get those free throws? Because the creativity is going to be critical down that stretch. Who will be able to build shots, generate momentum?
By the way, we talked so much about Ben Gordon, and rightfully so, 4th quarter. Gilbert Arenas was 2nd in the NBA in double-digit 4th quarters. He had 22 of them. Only LeBron James scored more double-figure 4th quarter games than he did. And he's got 6 here in the 4th quarter. Griffin inside. Adrian Griffin having a superb game.
And the way that Scott Skiles has used that whole roster. Pargo, the injured Chris Duhan, Heinrich, who's been out there seemingly the whole game and has outplayed Gilbert Arenas tonight.
Arenas looking for a shot. Still can't get it to fall.
Heinrich getting the rebound, running coast to coast.
Duhan for 3. And out of bounds.
Do you think Kirk Heinrich ever gets tired?
Yes, I do.
We sure haven't noticed any drop-off whatsoever from the opening tip tonight, and that was at least a couple hours ago.
Meanwhile, the Bulls bench, once again, has been superb. Adrian Griffin having a big game, as is Chandler.
Heinrich right there again.
A lot of bumps going through these screens. Jamison, 5 on the shot clock, a 3. In and out. That one was halfway down, but kept up and in by Haywood. A 1-point game coming up on 5 minutes remaining. Bulls playing for a game 7.
Everyone involved for the Bulls playing as a true team right now. Nice pass by Griffin.
Nocioni hammered. Oh, a hard foul. Haywood has to be careful on those. That follow-through sometimes is what gets you those flagrant fouls, as Nocioni will shoot a couple of free throws.
But the way the Bulls generated that shot, they bring it up one side, swing it around, the triangle built on the perimeter, a little penetration move by Adrian Griffin, and then when the defense has to come, they just lay it off for a wide open opportunity for Nocioni.
The 25-year-old rookie from Argentina, John Paxson, said when they signed him, he plays with a passion we believe that all players should play with. And he plays with that passion. As you look at Paxson, he plays with that passion on the layup line.
John Paxson, just 2 years as the general manager.
So 2 clutch free throws there from Nocioni.
Wizards never able to get into their transition game. This is a team that's been scoring 106 points a game in this series.
Arenas. See, that's the thing about players like Arenas. You could struggle all game long and then make it look so easy. Arenas 8 points in the period. Chandler on the second effort. Tyson Chandler. He's got a double-double.
Tyson has not shown a great propensity for finishing tonight, but his second effort truly admirable. But somebody better guard Adrian Griffin. That matchup has been a nightmare for Washington all night long.
Meanwhile, Griffin picks up his 4th foul, and they're in the penalty.
Gilbert Arenas will fake the dribble handoff. Both defenders jump at him, and Duhon ends up on the deck, and Gilbert Arenas just... And then Tyson Chandler... How is that not a foul? I'm not sure. This matchup between Haywood, who was drafted in the same year as Tyson Chandler, Chandler number 2, Haywood number 20.
So Jamison to the line. Jamison missed 2 big free throws in the final minute of the 4th quarter in Chicago. He said after the game his father was going to let him hear about it. Both teams missed a number of free throws. He was 0 for 4 from the line for the whole game.
But the big 3 for Washington, he misses 2 here. In that game 5, they missed 6 of 8 free throws in the final 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
It's amazing with all the hard work. Sometimes these games come down to who can knock down a free throw. Ruffin is on Heinrich, gets him away, but throws up a wild shot.
But the great rotation defense. Duhon just seems to always be in the right place.
Oh, nice pass from Ruffin, and the foul. Hughes wanted to shoot it, Bill, when he went up, and last minute spotted Ruffin.
This is when the Wizards are at their best. The penetration, able to get by. Then Tyson Chandler loses contact, and everybody trying to scramble. I think the Bulls are good enough defensively. They don't need to double team out there on the perimeter. They forced the Wizards to play a half-court game, and now Michael Ruffin at the free throw line. The chemical engineering major from Tulsa University.
Antoine Jamison told us yesterday every team needs a player like Michael Ruffin.
Second oldest of 6 children, Michael Ruffin.
A big free throw from Ruffin. The game is tied with just over 3.5 to play. This entire play is pretty much on its feet. A sold-out MCI Center. Duhon. And a foul, blocking foul called, so Duhon goes down again. Michael Ruffin picks up another personal, his 4th.
One of the real differences between the defensive schemes and abilities of these 2 teams is that the Bulls, they rarely gamble. They just play contain, man-to-man. I'm guarding you and you're going nowhere defense. The Wizards with Hughes, Arenas, always gambling, always trying to get out in that passing lane. And that time it really cost him as Duhon, a great pressure player.
Haywood sits down. Jamison returns. Duhon with the free throw. Duhon, a second-round pick. He'll be a free agent after this year. His defense got him in the starting lineup. Oh, 2 clutch free throws.
And the Wizards forced to walk it up. The set offense, not the strength of their game.
Hughes, that's a three. Fight for the rebound, Griffin again.
Kirk Heinrich has outplayed Gilbert Arenas, and Adrian Griffin has outplayed Antoine Jameson tonight. The two All-Stars.
And almost a steal. Griffin says, my fault to Duhon. Still 14 on the shot clock. Griffin playing big minutes, 9.6 rebounds. Heinrich trying to find some space.
Love the way he just floats over the court.
Heinrich, Chandler puts it in. And the Bulls once again back up by 4. Chandler 14 points and 10 rebounds. The ball movement excellent for the Bulls.
The discipline of the Chicago Bulls, taking advantage of the gambling, hopeful, wishing defense. Tyson Chandler.
The look key, the Wizards with just one timeout remaining, neither team with a foul to give.
And Eddie Jordan has to save that timeout until the very last possession.
You see Scott Skiles, you see the Bulls scoring. Gordon has hardly played. 16 minutes, scoreless, only took one shot. And it's the Bulls that have the lead. Heinrich with the steal. Gets inside, blocked by Arenas. Oh, what a block from Arenas. A tremendous recovery. And Hughes with the left hand.
Now that is a major turnaround. It looked like offensive goaltending.
If Haywood touched that, that shouldn't have counted, but Haywood kind of took his arm away quickly.
Well, there was a bizarre sequence there. As Larry Hughes tried to foul Kirk Heinrich, referees weren't even looking at the play.
Arenas with just a superb block. Heinrich's pass deflected. Jameson got a hand on it. Jameson. Tie game. Just like that, 4 quick points for the Wizards. Griffin trying to find some room. Stolen by Haywood, and a foul on Griffin. Well, that's his 5th. And free throws for Haywood.
The defense of Kirk Heinrich, who steals the ball. Larry Hughes tries to grab it, and then the incredible, remarkable athleticism, and then Larry Hughes right back with the runner. That ball looked like it was tipped by Brendan Haywood.
I don't think he touched it. And then Jameson comes back and ties the game. And now Haywood with a chance to give the Wizards their first lead of the 4th quarter, and badly misses. They are now from the free throw line with 69%. 5 of 10 in the 4th quarter, as you see. Wow. Did that hit the rim?
It's got to hit something.
If that didn't hit the rim, that should have been a violation. It didn't look like it hit the rim.
An incredible veteran crew here. Chicago's not arguing.
It must have been if they're not saying it.
Whoa, I don't think it did. It would have had to change direction radically there.
If it doesn't hit the rim, it's a violation. It should be Bulls ball. Hughes, tough shot.
Great defense, Heinrich.
The Bulls have led by as many as 9 here in this 4th quarter. Wizards have come back to tie it. And a timeout call with just over a minute and a half remaining. Bulls playing for a game 7 on Sunday. Maybe it went underneath. It should have been a violation. However, the Wizards didn't wind up scoring in that possession.
Tough mismatch here. Duhon spread the floor against Jared Jeffries.
Heinrich trying to find room. Heinrich won't go. And Arenas with the rebound.
Get in transition if you're Washington. What closeout defense by Heinrich.
Hughes inside. Can't get it to fall. And Duhon comes up with it again. Great help defense from Chandler.
Wild runners against the dug-in defense is so solid as Chicago. That's not going to get it done for the Wizards.
How about Pargo playing here in the 4th quarter? And Jeffries the rebound.
How about this entire lineup for Scott Skiles? You got Duhon, who can barely move with a bad back. Pargo recently signed up.
Gordon on the bench. He had a real struggle tonight. And Scott Skiles going with others. Arenas pulls up. Can't get it to fall. 6 of 24 from the field.
Shot clock clearly favors the Bulls. They're going to take a timeout.
With 36.5 seconds remaining, they're going to use their 20. As you can see, there's a 16.5-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Neither team with a foul to give. And we're all tied up at 91. You know, we talked to Scott Skiles before the game, and you know, he knew his team was a bit tired by the way they played. It's been a long season. They're without 2 key guys. They're playing extra minutes. But he had a feeling in a desperation elimination game they'd come out with everything tonight.
There was no signs of fatigue from the outset. The Bulls just came out and took it right to the homestanding Wizards, who felt collectively and with the whole community here just so supportive in Washington of their rise to prominence once again that it was all going to be their way. Sports Center coming up next, and it'll all be about Kirk Heinrich and Gennaro Pargo if they can pull off this incredible upset here with the shot clock in their favor.
Game 5 went down to the final shot. Off Duhan's back. He took his eye off it. Jeffries with the slam. And the Wizards had their first lead of the 4th quarter. Oh, what a turnaround. Duhan turned his back. And Heinrich with the turnover.
This is a defensive move by Eddie Jordan to put Jared Jeffries on Chris Duhan to cut down on his passing ability. What versatility by Jeffries.
They get it into Heinrich's hands. Heinrich. Pargo for 3. Way off the mark. Off-balance shot. Not a good shot. And the Wizards will get it back. And Eddie Jordan calls his final timeout. Scott Skiles watching it turn around. They've been so hungry here in Washington, D.C. for a winning NBA team. And the Wizards on the verge of advancing to the 2nd round.
Bad pass here. Duhan turns his back. Runs away from it.
I don't understand why he would turn there because Heinrich was clearly throwing it.
Didn't seem to have his balance. I'm not sure what Chris Duhan is doing there. Duhan, he has been in so many big games.
And such a costly turnover. Bulls had the ball with the game tied, and now they're down 2 without the ball with 17.2 remaining. So right now, they need to foul.
They have to foul immediately. You cannot waste time.
Of course, many big defensive plays here in the 4th quarter. Gilbert Arenas had a huge one. As Kirk Heinrich, with the big steal, they were up 4, and this would have put them up 6.
Gilbert Arenas, who is barely 6 feet tall, gets above the rim, sends that one back, and the Wizards came down and scored there. Who was Eddie Jordan going to come out with here? Big Minnie takes those guys out. They're not good free throw shooters, but all of these guys have given up free throws.
Now, a key here, no timeouts for Washington. So what the Bulls need to do is really try to deny the ball, because if the Wizards can't get it in, they can't call timeout.
I'd have Jared Jeffries be the inbound guy there. He's got the height, the vision, the see to play. He's got to throw a hard pass here.
And if they get it in bounds, the Bulls have to foul right away.
Come to the ball if you're the Wizards.
Good ball denial. They throw it in the backcourt. And here's the foul. You have 5 seconds until the release, and that was very close. But Hughes made a smart play, as did Dixon.
Well, Dixon kept moving. You never want to stand in that situation. Always keep running. The full court, remember, they changed the rules. You used to not be able to inbound the ball into the backcourt.
Dixon, a terrific free throw shooter, misses the first. And the Bulls with still life. Dixon, prior to that free throw, was 16 of 18 from the line in the playoffs. And the Bulls not calling time.
If they run this down, I think the Wizards have to foul. Don't give them a chance to shoot that 3.
Duhan looking for room. Nocioni for 3. Won't go. Chandler with a rebound. Chandler puts up a 2. Oh, not a smart play. And that'll do it. The Washington Wizards
have advanced to the second round for the first time in 23 years. And Eddie Jordan runs over and salutes the crowd. Heartbreaking finish for Chris Duhon and the Chicago Bulls. They had it right there at the end, and a couple of costly turnovers. As the Wizards' wonderful season will continue, they'll play game 1 in Miami on Sunday afternoon. This season, their first playoff game in 8 years, their first playoff game victory in 17 years. And now their first playoff series win in 23 years. Nocioni's had a very good look at it. And then this long rebound. Tyson Chandler, you got to go for 3 here. Totally unaware of the situation. He had about 4 seconds when he had the rebound. And then Gilbert Arenas wisely throws the ball up into the crowd and runs off the court. So the thrilling come-from-behind win for the Wizards. They were down 9 in the fourth quarter, come back and win this series 4-2 as we go to Mark Jones.
Antoine Jamison, a big comeback in the fourth quarter. Now, tell us about the defense on that last sequence. Nocioni did get a clean look at a three-pointer to tie. What were you guys trying to do on that last sequence?
We just want to prevent it, a three-pointer. We took Duhon and Hamrick out. Those are the 2 best three-point shooters, and I can live with Nocioni beating us with the 3, but we did a great job as far as not giving up, staying positive, staying calm, and we finally found a way to get it at the end.
How shocked were you guys that Jared Jeffries ends up with that steal, virtually a room service layup to take the lead?
It was unbelievable. Duhon wasn't even looking for the ball. And I don't know who took it out, but he threw it and it bounced off his back. And Jared was very, absent-minded as far as not giving up on the play. He found a way to get the ball. However it comes, I'll take it. And you just got to give him credit for not giving up and just continuing with the play.
It was a struggle for you guys all night offensively. You hit a big shot down the stretch from the corner. Describe to us that play that you hit that shot.
We've been struggling since the end of the third quarter as far as putting the ball in the basket. But we did a great job with our defensive presence. We found a way to get a stop, and Larry found me on the break. I stayed calm, and I knocked down the shot, and just glad that he had confidence to give me the ball, and I was able to do it.
Antoine, thanks a lot, and get your bags back for Miami, man.
I appreciate it.
Mike, back to you.
A wild finish, Mark. And Gilbert Arenas, when he got that rebound, there was still over a second remaining. He took a chance by throwing it into the crowd. And if you look at the clock, let's watch. He gets the rebound, and there's just under 2, throws it in. Now, you don't blow the whistle. See 1.2, watch the ball, but he threw it high enough so you won't blow the whistle until the ball lands in the crowd. And that's why the clock was able to run out.
Remember when Magic Johnson beating the Portland Trailblazers back in the early 90s by throwing the ball to the far end of the court.
So an amazing finish, come from behind win for the Washington Wizards as their turnaround continues. Again, the final score, Wizards win at 94-91 and win the series 4-2. A tough way to finish for the Bulls after their terrific season. Coming up next on ESPN is Sports Center. So for producer Eddie Fibershoff, director Jim Moore, Bill Walton, and Mark Jones, this is Mike Green for our entire ESPN crew saying so long from Washington, D.C. It's the Wizards advancing to the second round. Game 1 in Miami on Sunday afternoon.